Tom Ackerman. These are the stories making news.
The legacy of McDonnell Douglas remains strong in St. Louis.
We truly are the center of the world when it comes to defense.
I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
I'm Debbie Monterrey. The extreme contagiousness of the measles in unvaccinated St. Louis residents has local health experts closely watching for any signs of a possible spread.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Changeable skies today and warm with a thunderstorm or two that can produce hail and damaging winds. We'll get to 68.
An arrest of former Prince Andrew. That's coming up in CBS News at 6:15. The latest in sports, including a narrow victory for Mizzou.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by JTV.com.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. We begin with breaking news from the UK.
I'm Vicky Barker in London, where police say Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has just been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. This over revelations contained in the Epstein files that Andrew may have shared confidential information with his friend, the late convicted pedophile billionaire Jeffrey Epstein. Addresses Grace, younger brother of King Charles, are now being searched and to deny the sexual assault accusations by Epstein.
It is 6:01, and we apologize for having issues getting CBS News to you, but we are ready to go here in Studio B, where it is cloudy outside in downtown St. Louis and 50 degrees. We do have a dense fog advisory in effect. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman.
This has an emotional tie to me to be here today for the announcement you're about to hear about the future of what's happening, not only for our warfighters.
Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe welcomed Secretary of War Pete Hegseth to Boeing yesterday. Wednesday's visit was extra special for Boeing workers. Following the announcement, the aerospace giant's St. Louis facility will once again serve as defense headquarters.
Secretary Hegseth said it was about the workers, whether intel analysts or mechanics on the front lines.
It's about your ability to provide the Eagle, the Super Hornet, the Red Hawk, the Stingray. You see, for more than a century, St. Louis has designed, built, and tested the aircraft that American pilots fly.
Hegseth said St. Louis helped lead the way on the nation's industrial transformation that won World War II. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Health experts are closely watching for any sign of possible measles spread in the St. Louis area following a case that recently passed through Lambert Airport and ended up in the Metro East. KMOX Health editor Fred Bottomer reports.
Measles is the most contagious viral illness that we know. It is sort of the granddaddy of contagiousness.
WashU Medicine infectious diseases specialist Dr. Stephen Lawrence.
On average, if you had a room full of people and that had not been previously vaccinated, in other words, they were completely susceptible to it, this virus on average would infect about 15 other individuals. So it really does have more contagiousness than any other viral illness that we know of.
Both the Missouri and the Illinois Departments of Public Health confirm an adult with measles flew into Terminal 2 at Lambert Airport on February 7th and then took a shuttle to their car before driving to Collinsville and attending services at Good Shepherd Lutheran Church the following day. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
If you're driving past St. Louis University Hospital this morning, you may see a protest. Union registered nurses across the country are holding a day of action to protest what they call one of the worst public health threats, ICE, and the Trump administration's immigration enforcement. Members of National Nurses United, the nation's largest union and professional association of RNs, say ICE and Customs and Border Patrol are directly injuring, traumatizing, maiming, and even killing immigrants and U.S. citizens.
They are also calling out detention centers where at least 40 people have died and where highly contagious diseases like measles flourish. The nurses are calling on Congress to stop funding ICE and CBP. They also blame hospital executives for failing to clearly side with nurses and immigrant patients by keeping ICE out of hospitals.
The body of a missing 18-year-old was identified yesterday. A body recovered from the Mississippi River near Festus had been identified as Juanita Gibson. Gibson was reported missing from St. Louis City on December 24th. An investigation into the official cause of death is underway.
A St. Louis County man sentenced to 90 months in jail for carjacking a 72-year-old. 25-year-old Kirk Hall and another man stole the victim's BMW in July 2023. The victim had just parked in an apartment complex about 1 a.m. when she was ordered out of her vehicle by a gunman. That man took off in the victim's car. Hall then followed in another car. He admitted to the carjacking back in November.
As drones become a growing part of everyday life, Missouri State Representative Mike Jones says his new bill aims to protect public safety, especially in large crowds of people.
It also has language that I believe would pertain to parades or protests or anywhere there is a large gathering of folks and where a drone poses an imminent threat.
If approved, the bill would give police the power to step in and take down drones that put large groups of people at risk. The FBI would train officers to use electronic tools to bring one down.
It is 6:05, a major arrest in the United Kingdom linked to the Epstein files. We get more from Catherine Arms.
According to national news reports, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. The former prince has always denied any wrongdoing. Thames Valley Police issued a statement saying, as part of the investigation, we have today taken a man in his 60s from Norfolk on suspicion of misconduct in public office and are carrying out searches at addresses in Berkshire and Norfolk. The man remains in police custody. Today is Andrew's 66th birthday.
One of the Trump administration's biggest foreign policy agenda items takes another step forward. CBS News intelligence and national security reporter Olivia Gazis has the story.
President Trump will host the first Board of Peace gathering Thursday in Washington. Officials say more than $5 billion in aid for Gaza will be pledged, along with thousands of troops for a new international stabilization force. At least 24 delegations, including observer states, are expected.
The Board of Peace was announced as part of the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. The president wants countries to pay $1 billion to remain on the board as permanent members.
An avalanche near California's Lake Tahoe is now the state's deadliest snowslide and the fourth most fatal avalanche ever in the United States. It happened Tuesday while 15 skiers were out in a heavy snowstorm near Castle Peak, which is by the Boreal Mountain Ski Resort. KOVR TV reporter Connor McGill has the latest on the situation from Soda Springs, California.
Whiteout conditions. The snow coming down hard. The Sierra Avalanche Center says the potential continues for large to very large avalanches occurring in the backcountry.
Officials have found the bodies of 8 skiers, but have not been able to recover them because of weather conditions. 6 people survived the avalanche.
This is day 18 of the search for Nancy Guthrie. And new information keeps coming in. Anna Schechter, senior coordinating producer for the CBS News Crime and Public Safety Unit, walks us through the leads so far that have not produced major results.
Biological samples, blood from the home, potentially skin cells, maybe some saliva were commercial, but they're not saying that it popped a match in CODIS, nothing.
More Rock and Roll Hall of Famers weighing in on ICE crackdowns.
U2 has just released what it calls an American obituary.
Renee Good, born to die free, American mother of 3.
It's a tribute to Renee Good, the anti-ICE protester who was gunned down by federal agents in Minneapolis last month after she blocked officers, then tried to drive away. The song calls for a, quote, rise against the people of the lie. It's the first track on U2's EP, Days of Ash, released on the first day of the Christian Lenten season. Department of Homeland Security Secretary
Desk, the restaurant space in City Garden could become a visitor's center. The glass and steel building in the downtown sculpture park first opened in 2009. It has since had 6 eateries open and close. The St. Louis Board of Aldermen is currently advancing legislation that would permit the Gateway Foundation to turn the space into a visitor's center and community hub that could offer programming. That measure moves on now to the full board.
We are going to check the roadways and the weather coming up next. Stay with us here on Total Information AM at 6:09.
Zach Bryan with Heaven on Tour.
Poison myself again. Something in the orange tells me you'll never.
Saturday, March 7th. The Dome at America's Center.
Wish I didn't, but I do.
With special guests, Camp and J.R. Carroll. Tickets are on sale now at ZachBryan.com.
I think I heard you coming.
Don't miss Zach Bryan live.
The 2026 Home Expo is bigger and better than ever. Join the Home Builders and Remodelers Association for 3 days of inspiration with 175 plus booths, new features, and top local vendors. Enjoy free admission and free parking, hourly giveaways, live performances by local school groups, and even pet adoptions with Gateway Pet Guardians. One lucky winner will take home a red light therapy sauna from Aloha Pools and Spa, February 27th through March 1st at Belclair Fairgrounds. Details at hbrmea.org.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Let's check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, aside from the fog, Tom, we're not doing all that poorly on the highways. Look pretty good, actually. In fact, that train cleared since we last spoke. Route 3 at Monsanto. Actually, southbound Route 3 is busier. Monsanto down to Queenie, the northbound side, not really that big of a deal. It looks like that little roadwork delay we had on 64 through Highway 50 eastbound has dissipated as well. And again, they're scheduled to wrap up the eastbound road work by 7 a.m., so maybe they already wrapped it up a little early, and that's why the short little delay we had there disappeared. Other than that, the rest of the interstates are looking good for you so far. We still have that emergency repair work going on eastbound 64 and 15th Street. It's been an issue in the afternoons. That's scheduled to go on through Monday morning. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather. There's some fog to start. Otherwise, variable cloudiness today and warm. Look for a thunderstorm or two. Any thunderstorm can produce hail and damaging winds or high 68. Tonight, increasingly windy and turning colder. Clear skies early, some cloud late, low 35. Tomorrow, sunshine and some clouds, breezy and cooler, high only 47. For Saturday, intervals of clouds and sunshine, brisk and chilly, the high just 44, even colder Sunday. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, we do have a dense fog advisory in the region. It's 51 degrees.
It's now 6:12, sports in 3 minutes. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker has rolled out what he calls his most challenging budget proposal in years. Andy Dane breaks it down.
The governor spent a good deal of his State of the State address taking the Trump administration to task, in part for keeping critical funds from Illinois.
We won't let headwinds from Washington stop us from addressing the fact that Illinoisans, like Americans everywhere, are still paying too much for groceries, too much for housing, too much for electricity, too much to live. And that's why now more than ever, we must work together to make life more affordable for Illinois' working families.
He vowed to do that by not raising taxes, cutting costs on health care and housing, and boosting energy for homes and businesses.
Illinois is already #1 in clean nuclear energy production. That is a leadership mantle that we must hold on to. Producing even more energy is vital to keep up with increasing demand and bring down prices.
The address also included a moment of silence for the Reverend Jesse Jackson.
And a GOP state representative, Dan Ugasti, says Pritzker needs to focus on helping Illinoisans, not criticizing the president and other Republicans.
The people of Illinois deserve a leader who delivers a budget address grounded in facts, fiscal discipline, and civility, not another round of inflammatory rhetoric.
The Missouri House has passed legislation to end most vehicle inspections in the state. Current law requires that vehicles at least 10 years old or more have more than 150,000 miles be inspected every 2 years. The bill's sponsor, Republican Representative Ann Kelly of Lamar, says 38 states have eliminated vehicle inspections, and doing so will ease Missourians' financial burden.
Research studies have shown that mandatory vehicle inspections do not significantly reduce accidents or improve road safety. This has led many states to reconsider the value of these regulations.
Kelly also pointed out that many modern vehicles have advanced technology that she says makes vehicle inspections unnecessary.
Democrats, including Michael Burton of St. Louis County, argued that doing away with vehicle inspections would put people more at risk of being killed or injured in traffic crashes. The bill is now in the hands of the Missouri Senate. Megan Lynch will talk with our KMOX auto expert Greg Damon about this subject coming up in the 8 o'clock hour.
It's 6:15 right now. Let's talk some college basketball out of the gate. How about the fact that the University of Missouri had a 21-point lead on Vanderbilt, the 19th ranked team in the country, in the second half? Oh, what? They almost lost it? Yes, almost lost it all. But they ended up winning the game yesterday by a final of 81-80. Yeah, it was that kind of day for Mizzou. Nothing comes easy for these Tiger fans who are hanging on, hoping that their team can make the NCAA tournament, and Missouri is getting closer to that. They won the game last night, 81-80, but again, they had a 21-point lead midway through the second half. Vanderbilt started to hit another gear. They found their offense. They chipped away, but in the end, they drop it by a point at Mizzou Arena, and the Tigers coach, Dennis Gates, wants to remind everybody that that's a win, and the Tigers get a key win. They're now 18-8 overall, but with their 8 SEC wins, that's where to watch, because if they can get 2 more, that should get them into the NCAA tournament. That seems to be the magic number right now. 10 conference wins if you're an SEC team. They knock off another ranked team, though. Number 19 Vanderbilt goes down 81-80. Illinois does not have that problem. The Illini look great. They smashed USC last night, 101-65. The 10th ranked Illini just roll in this one. They had 6 different players in double figures, led by Andrei Stojakovic off the bench. He was back after a high ankle sprain, 22 points in just 17 minutes for Stojakovic. Elsewhere, Illinois State beat Murray State 78-61. Kennesaw State knocked off Missouri State 91-67. And Southern Illinois goes on the road and beats Drake 66-61. Let's turn our attention to baseball now, and KMOX's Matt Pauley.
Lars Nootbaar might only be 28, but he's now one of the old guys on the Cardinals roster, something that feels odd to him.
It's crazy. I don't know if they still have it. I know at the old complex they had like the pictures of the players that debuted with the Cardinals. I'd be the first one on that list, and that feels weird to say. I still feel young.
As the roster changes dramatically coming into the season, Nootbaar misses some of his old teammates, including now Diamondbacks third baseman Nolan Arenado.
I'm going to miss Nato, obviously a good friend of mine, but we FaceTimed last night. I'm staying in his place, so it's almost as if, you know, he's still here. And so if I have any questions about the house, I just call him.
Nootbaar goes from being a teammate to a tenant of Arenado.
He's my landlord, which kind of sucks, but you know, it's all right.
Nootbaar reporting to camp a couple days late as he continues to rehab his offseason double heel surgery. In Jupiter, Florida, at Cardinal Spring Training, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Bruce Meyer promoted to interim executive director of the Players Association a day after Tony Clark's forced resignation. That's a move for continuity ahead of the likely start in April of what figures to be a contentious collective bargaining with baseball's owners. As we look at the Winter Olympics, the United States men's hockey team defeated Sweden 2-1 in overtime. Canada knocked off Czechia in overtime 4-3. Narrow victories, but it advances them to the semifinals. They are 1 game away from facing each other for the gold. That's what the women will do today, the United States and Canada. Michaela Schifrin wins gold in the women's Olympic slalom. And I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals and Billikens, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. You know, when you go to the Audiology Center, you'll see a doctor of audiology. And with us right now, Dr. Colleen Bosler. Dr. Bosler, what are some of the signs of hearing loss?
Well, it's a number of things. Sometimes loved ones notice a person asking others to repeat themselves, or the television is too loud. What people tend to notice first with hearing loss is the loss of clarity. They can hear people talking, but they cannot always understand what's being said. That's because the hearing loss can cause you to miss certain consonant sounds, and those consonant sounds give us the detail to the word. A hearing aid can help bring back those details and give you a sense of clarity that you're missing.
Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center with 3 locations in the greater St. Louis area. Call for an appointment, 636-441-7470. Online, theaudiologycenterstl.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. After my husband died, the last thing I wanted to think about was money. Ethos made it affordable to get life insurance. Signing up was fast and 100% online. I knew that I could pay our mortgage and have food in the fridge. I could focus on my kids. No one ever tells you how much you're going to depend on that policy. I am so grateful we had coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Chuck McDowell here again. Over the years, I've seen way too many timeshare exit companies pop up, take folks' money, and disappear. I just saw an ad from an exit company started by a couple of bozos that used to work for me. My advice, don't hire bozos I'll fire. Want out of your timeshare? I'll send you our free timeshare exit info kit explaining your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free kit. 800-329-3737. That's 800-329-3737.
Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:21. Let's get you caught up on traffic and weather. And we start out with Roger Brand, who is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things are in good shape on the highways around the area right now, Debbie. If you're heading out the door, right, there's nothing to be concerned about. A little fog here and there. And, of course, we're building volume, so we've got a little bit of a slowdown in a couple of spots in the usual culprits here. Northbound 55, Butler Hill up to 270. The right lanes, Bayless up to River to Pears, a little slow. Route 3 continues to improve. There's not much left in the way of delays between Queenie and Monsanto, so that's looking better. 64 westbound at the 70 split looks a little busy, but okay. If you the Fallon, Fairview Heights area where they have road work going on eastbound, there is a little slowdown as well out west, eastbound 70 past the weigh scales, east of Forestel. But aside from that, a little bit of fog. 55 at Highway Z also looks a little crowded in that construction zone, but nothing jammed so far. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
My best friend Jenny came over for coffee, said it's cold enough in here to play hockey. Well, my furnace broken, it's already late. Call Jerry Kelly because they're open till 8. JerryKelly.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on. Jerry Kelly.
That forecast from AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg. A little foggy to start here and there, but otherwise we're going to have a cloudy, warm day today and a thunderstorm in the forecast. Hail and damaging winds can come with that. High 68 today, low 35 tonight, and a high of 47 tomorrow. It's 50 right now.
It's being called the Arsenal of Freedom, and the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, brought that tour to Boeing yesterday. Maria Kino was there.
Reporters were not given any opportunities to ask questions of the secretary. His stay at Boeing was very short, as were the introductions of Governor Mike Kehoe and Junior U.S. Senator Eric Schmidt.
This has an emotional tie to me to be here today for the announcement you're about to hear about the future of what's happening, not only for our warfighters, but for the entire defense industry and for our incredible team workforce that stands before me. You guys make St. Louis and our region proud, and I couldn't be more proud to be with you today.
As somebody who grew up in Bridgeton, just a couple of miles from here, who had family members that worked at McDonnell Douglas and Boeing, we are just so proud of what you guys do each and every day to protect this great country. The weapon systems that are built here, the fighter jets that are built here, protect our great country, our friends and allies around the world. The hands that make these planes here behind me are second to none. And that's because of the workforce we have right here in St. Louis. So give yourselves a round of applause for the work that you do. God bless you.
Secretary Hegseth emphasized over and over the significance of improving technology and innovation and making things faster and faster.
And I'm here on behalf of the Department of War to thank you. That's what the Arsenal of Freedom Tour is all about, to ensuring that our warfighters never fight in a fair fight, and they can't do that without you, without what is done here in Building 75, which is essential to the Arsenal of Freedom. But I'm also here to tell you and tell your leadership that we need you to build more. We need you to build faster. Faster, faster, faster. Cutting red tape, investing, putting the country first. Because the Arsenal of Freedom is not just about door kickers and pilots and the planes right behind me, or Intel analysts or mechanics on the front line. It's about all of you. It's about your ability to provide the Eagle, the Super Hornet, the Red Hawk, the Stingray. You see, for more than a century, St. Louis has designed, built, and tested the aircraft that American pilots fly. Your city helped lead the way on the nation's industrial transformation that won World War II. Great accomplishments. You are the patriots that are key elements to ensuring peace through strength. The machinists and the aerospace workers who've dedicated your lives to precision and to skill. And all done right here in the United States of America. You see, for far too long, under previous administrations, we had leaders who thought we could outsource this work to other countries, that we could live in coexist in a global community where American skills and factories and shipyards, they didn't really matter anymore. Or that it was okay to operate not at the World War II pace, national production pace, but at a glacial pace of the over-budget, bloated prime contractors, and that's okay to be the norm. You see, Boeing and so many others used to build a lot faster. Some of it was because of your process, and some of that is because of how we operated. And under President Trump, those days are finished. We're operating at the speed that our warfighters deserve and our warfighters need.
Hegseth called for more investments, more innovation and equipment for what he calls the threats in front of America. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Funding to help Missouri domestic violence victims could be at risk in the next state budget.
Governor Mike Kehoe's state budget proposal requests a $1 million reduction in funding to help Missouri's domestic violence shelter services program. Jessica Woolbright with St. Martha's, a St. Louis nonprofit serving survivors, says if the funding is not restored, the ability to respond in moments of crisis is weakened, and survivors are put in even further risk. During a state House Budget Committee hearing Tuesday, she said due to lack of funding in 2024, Missouri had more than 36,800 unmet requests for adults and their accompanying children seeking shelter. From the Missouri Capitol, Elisa Nelson, Missouri Net.
It is now 6:27. The time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Cooling, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. Our St. Louis Baseball Cardinals reset last season. Now they're planning for the long term. Have you thought about a long-term plan for your family? A will, a trust, powers of attorney? Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano can guide you with a personalized estate plan. Sign up for our free webinar on our website, yourestateMatters.com. Learn more about estate planning, get some answers, list your questions, then schedule a consultation. You can plan for your family, your favorite charities, taxes, your long-term care, and even your pets now, before the courts do it for you later. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I opened a restaurant and needed everything. Menus, signage, catering brochures.
Everything and then some.
I went to Staples. They printed it all and even suggested takeout menus.
One money pit with a side of fries.
But now at Staples, you get up to $125 off custom print orders.
$125 off. Now you're cooking. Brand your business in a big way at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in store, online, or in the app by 4/4 to unlock. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
I was ordering food for the office from the same few places for too long.
For workplaces suffering with office food fatigue, every day is a struggle.
Before starting Easy Cater, I assumed having no good vegan options for Carl in finance was normal.
Easy Cater is designed to treat OFF with a huge variety of favorite restaurants, plus tools to help you meet dietary needs and stay on budget. Used daily, one platform lets you save time and shine. Ask your app store about Easy Cater or start an order at easycater.com.
St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history.
Martin Luther King was killed by an assassin's bullet tonight.
From moment to memory.
It's a strike call! I know, and I forget that!
Among those voices, Charlie Brennan.
Well, we've got lots to talk about, despite our listeners' letters to the contrary.
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. YourEyeDoc.com.
It is 6:30, and right now in downtown St. Louis, we've got a dense fog advisory, cloudy skies, and 51 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brand is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It doesn't appear to be impacting drivers on the highway so far this morning, folks. I mean, there could be the pockets of dense fog, so just be careful as you drive in. Maybe slow your pace a little bit. But right now, we're just looking at the normally heavy traffic that always pops up early on northbound 55. So the right lane south of Butler Hill up to 270 or slow. All lanes backed up just north of the Union Road overpass up through Weber. Then it starts to pick up the pace. Looks good right now anyway on 64 over in the O'Fallon Fairview Heights area. I'm not seeing delays in either directions. Of course, that emergency repair work causing a little bit of a slowdown eastbound 64 at 15th Street. Again, those right lanes scheduled to be closed through early Monday. So you're going to have rough commutes home again tonight and tomorrow night unless they get it wrapped up extra early, but they're planning on working through the weekend there. Otherwise, the rest of these area interstates on both sides of the river are light and on the go for you so far. Next update at 6:40 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
As for the weather forecasts, we're looking at fog to start the day, clouds, warm, thunderstorm or two today. Thunderstorm can produce hail and damaging winds, a high of 68. Tonight, increasingly windy and colder. We're going to get a low of 35. Tomorrow's high, 47 with some sunshine. It's 49 downtown right now.
Wood River is going Hollywood. The Wood River City Council unanimously approved the sale of the Envirotech Business Park this week for the development of Hollywood River Studios. That development totals $95 million and would include up to 6 sound and production studios for film and TV projects. According to the Post-Dispatch, it would also include an esports arena.
Chris Breakwell, the Pittsburgh-based developer, says it would create several hundred permanent jobs, with productions bringing in up to 500 temporary jobs. Clearing the land is beginning soon, with construction set to begin in the fall.
Does the region need sound stages for major productions? According to new numbers from the Missouri Film Office, the tax credits are paying off. In 2025, the Motion Media Production Tax Credit Program authorized nearly $15.7 million in production incentives for 54 projects. Those projects resulted in $40.7 million in spending around the Show Me State that benefited cast and crew, as well as hundreds of Missouri vendors and small businesses.
The biggest production was an episode of Ted Lasso in Kansas City, and Chasing Summer, filmed in St. Louis, premiered at this year's Sundance Film Festival. Although there were 13 feature films, 3 documentaries, 2 narrative shorts, 9 unscripted TV series, 4 scripted series, and 23 commercials filmed in Missouri last year.
The Food and Drug Administration has reversed its decision on a proposed flu vaccine and has agreed to review it for possible approval.
The FDA rejected Moderna's application for review of the new flu vaccine based on mRNA technology last week, saying the company's research on it was flawed. The Cambridge, Massachusetts company is hoping to get the flu vaccine intended for people 50 and older approved in time for the next flu season. The FDA has now set an August deadline to decide whether to approve the flu vaccine. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We'll check your Money Minute next.
Hey guys, it's Dave from The Glover Show, trying to explain The Glover Show. So when I was a younger man, I used to go to happy hour almost every night, and I loved it. And I've always thought of my show as being like happy hour. It's always interesting. It's often silly, but not always. You know, there are real things to talk about. I am amongst friends, politics, and personal things. So that's what it is, really. It's happy hour for thousands of us every day between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. And I hope you'll tune in and join the happy hour.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return,
But I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
There's no championship league for small business owners, but if there was, you'd be at the top of the standings. Because going pro with Lenovo Pro means you've got the winning formation, one-on-one advice, IT solutions, and customized hardware powered by Intel Core Ultra processors help you stay ahead of the competition. Business goes pro with Lenovo Pro. Sign up for free at lenovo.com/pro.
Lenovo.
It is 6:35, and it's time for your money report. It's sponsored for you by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, elder law attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Traders may be holding back on further bets amid lingering worries over the outlook for artificial intelligence. The S&P 500 has struggled to breach the 7,000 level since first pushing toward it in October. Prediction market bettors are now putting the odds of a U.S. attack on Iran at around 70%. While crude oil prices are rising. Brent, the international benchmark, it surged over 4% on Wednesday to top $70. Google's DeepMind CEO says artificial intelligence poses serious risks that require urgent attention and international cooperation. The DeepMind co-founder is raising concerns current institutions may not be strong enough to manage upcoming AI developments. At Apollo Global Management, trying to reassure clients that its top executives didn't have a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. This after some employees, including the CEO, were named in newly released files by the Justice Department. I'm John Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
It is now 6:36, and if you have to sell a home, you absolutely need a professional on your side. I know some things you can do yourself, or you can just ask a friend. But when it comes to selling your home, that is probably one of the biggest investments, the most valuable thing that you own. So you want to make sure that you get the most money for it and that you do everything right. Gloria Liu is the agent who is going to do it all right for you. She's going to sell your home quickly and for the most money, and she guarantees it. She and her team sell hundreds of homes a year. Hundreds. That's how she can guarantee in writing that she'll sell your home, because she knows what she's doing. And if she doesn't sell it, she'll buy it herself. So your home is sold. There's a lot that goes into moving. It's very stressful, one of the most stressful life events. So take some of that stress off your shoulders. Have the expert team at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty selling your home. In fact, Gloria will even sell your home at 100% of market value, or she'll pay you the difference. Can other agents promise the same? I don't think so. So call Gloria Liu today at 314-325-6888. 314-325-6888. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date. You can find out more online right now at gloriahasthebuyers.com.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Presenting Again Fling's love story. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus this morning when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. Alas, I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Try Gain Flings with OxyBoost and Febreze.
At Gray Bar, we know your time is money. That's why our services go beyond parts and products. With kitting, pre-assembly, wire carts, and Gray Bar smart reels that keep you moving. We stage materials and manage logistics so you can spend less time sorting and more time installing. And with locations nationwide, we deliver when and where you need it, working to make your job easier every step of the way. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Bernie Nicholas and the Gas House Gang, today at noon on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
It is now 6:39, and Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, whom we formerly called Prince Andrew, has been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. The former British prince stripped of his royal titles because of his links to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Thames Valley Police said on Thursday that a man in his 60s from Norfolk in eastern England was arrested and remained in custody. They didn't identify the suspect in line with standard procedures in Britain. Mountbatten Windsor is 66 and moved to his brother King Charles III's estate in Norfolk after he was evicted from his longtime home near Windsor Castle. After the arrest, Charles said the law must take its course in the investigation of his brother. Let's take a look at the roadways and the weather. It's starting to get a little bit foggy downtown. We do have a dense fog advisory, so please keep that in mind if you're out and about. It is patchy, but when you hit it, it's pretty thick in places. Roger Brand is joining us right now from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
They got a little busier out there. It doesn't seem like the fog's bothering anybody on the highways so far, at least, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of Meadowview Memory Care. We have the right lane slow, north 55, north of Butler Hill to 270. All lanes backed up. Union Road overpass up to about Weber, but a couple of slow spots north of there up through Virginia. Northbound 270 north of 55 to Gravois, slow. Big Bend up to Manchester and a little bit at 64. South 270 Olive down to Ladue is crowded. Southbound 61's off the pace. Wentzville Parkway to 64. Eastbound 70 a little heavy around TRQs. And downtown westbound 64 west of 3rd Street to the Poplar is slow, and it's also slow through 159. Next update is 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Discover Meadowview Memory Care in Arnold, a small, secure community on a beautiful campus. Enjoy peace of mind with all our inclusive rates and comfortable private suites. Schedule your tour today at rspseniorliving.com.
It is 6:41, and our AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg is joining us. It looks like that creeping fog has reached its tentacles into downtown St. Louis. It's not like thick, Joe, but I'm seeing some of it. It's cool.
Yeah, and Debbie, that fog is going to be kind of pervasive for the next hour or two. We've got the dense fog advisory, as you mentioned, until about 9 o'clock this morning. I think it'll start to go away a little bit more quickly than that, but bottom line is, it's going to cause some problems for the morning commute. Then later today, clouds, breaks of sun, and watch out for a thunderstorm at least into the early, if not late afternoon hours. Any one of those could have some gusty winds and maybe even some hail. Our high gets to 60. That's it for the warmth for a while. This is all tied to a cold front. As the front comes through, the wind will pick up and it will dry things out. Clear to partly cloudy skies tonight. By morning, all the way down to 35, but it stays in the 40s tomorrow, despite some sunshine. Saturday, clouds, some sun, brisk and chilly, only 44. And in the 30s for Sunday and Monday, despite sunshine each day. It does warm up again starting on Tuesday. Right now, it's 45 at St. Peter's, 50 in Florissant. Mostly cloudy, some fog, 53 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, thanks, Joe. It is 6:43. A new state audit claims the contractor hired to score Missouri's marijuana business applications actively told its graders to hide their tracks. Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick says the firm, Wise Health Solutions, instructed its evaluators to take limited notes to avoid leaving records for potential lawsuits. According to the audit, the company's training manual even told workers to, quote, say it and forget it, write it and regret it. The review found rampant scoring inconsistencies, with some applicants receiving positive points for submitting completely blank answers. Fitzpatrick also called out the Department of Health and Senior Services, saying agency officials were completely uncooperative during the audit. He said they used, quote, derogatory language to discount the findings rather than fix the broken system. About 80 people showed up Tuesday night at the Forestell Board of Aldermen to hear more about a proposed data center in an unincorporated area that straddles the Warren and St. Charles County line. Minnesota-based Oppidan Investment had representatives at the meeting, but they did not speak. According to the Post-Dispatch, residents sounded off about noise, the impact on nature and resources, and urged the Board of Aldermen to issue a moratorium on data centers. Others want it on the ballot so residents can vote on it. A vote by the council is scheduled for March 17th. St. Louis County Animal Care and Control facing another serious overcrowding problem with some 170 dogs and more than 30 cats that need homes.
The budget for food for the animals was cut as well.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page talking exclusively with KMOX about the county's budget problems, and Animal Care and Control was not spared from cuts, he says.
So we really don't want to be over capacity there because we don't have the funds to get through the year for food for the dogs.
For months, Page tried to convince the council to use some of the Rams settlement money to expand Animal Care and Control, but they were against that. Adoption fees are being waived until the shelter is able to operate safely for the animals' well-being. Want to save money on gas? Fill up your car on Sunday. Gas Buddy did a study of which days it's cheapest in each state. And they found Sunday is cheapest for most states, including Missouri and Illinois. It could save you 4 to 9 cents a gallon. The most expensive day to gas up is Wednesday. And the study showed prices climb through the week before falling off on the weekends. It's 6:45.
Hey, let's talk some baseball out of the gate. Mason Wynn, Gold Glover, certainly one of the young emerging stars in the game, but according to manager Ollie Marmol, he does a lot more than that.
Stands out the most is there's a level of maturity that's actually pretty cool to watch right now. In him, you go through this progression as a player where you see yourself and you're worried about yourself, and it's hard for you to see the whole field. He's starting to see things outside of himself and opportunities to have conversations, even in the lives. There's a couple of things that have popped up that are really good. Some of the conversations in the clubhouse, you can tell his awareness and seeking opportunities to lead. So that's been encouraging to watch.
Cardinals open the season in Grapefruit League play on Saturday as they take on the Washington Nationals. We'll have that game on KMOX. Meanwhile, down the hall, Y98 FM will have St. Louis City SC. Their leader is Roman Berkey, and he visited with our very own Jen Cease. What did they talk about? Well, the fact that a new coach has a new plan.
Coach Johan DeMay talked a little bit earlier in his press conferences about having a system, having structure. We also know the game is creative, and sometimes the best moments come when you're not in structure. How do you find that balance between the creativity of soccer that makes it so popular with the fans of our sport versus what you said, you have to have some kind of structure behind it?
I think it depends on the way the game goes. If it's a period of time where we didn't have the ball, when the other guys had the ball, it makes more sense that when you win the ball, to play the ball, to secure the ball and keep it in with our players, not just give it back and play a risky ball.
They're going to be taking on Charlotte on Saturday. That's a 1:30 start at Energizer Park on Y98 FM. On KMOX, we will have the Cardinals and Nationals at 12:05, and then 11:20 a.m. we'll split off and have Billiken women's basketball on Saturday afternoon for a 2 o'clock tip against St. Joseph's. 104.1 FM will join that at the conclusion of the Cardinals game. Speaking of college basketball, the SLU men play tomorrow night at home against VCU, what turns out to be a huge game between the two for first place in the Atlantic 10. Last night, Missouri up 21 in the second half, almost lost the lead completely, but they found a way to beat number 19 Vanderbilt 81-80. 10th ranked Illinois hammered USC 101-65. Illinois State, a winner over Murray State 78-61. And also in the Valley, Southern Illinois beat Drake 66-61. The U.S. men's hockey team clipped Sweden in overtime 2-1. Gave up a goal in the last couple of minutes, but rallied to win it on a Quinn Hughes goal. And Canada did the same. Mitch Marner with an overtime winner to beat Czechia and a 4-3 victory. So the U.S. and Canada looking to advance. If they can get one more win each, they will be in the gold medal game on Sunday. The women's gold medal game, U.S. and Canada, is today. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals and Billikens, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
The Missouri Valley Conference men's basketball tournament has been the showcase for buzzer beaters, madness, and championship glory. With nearly 5 decades of heart-racing excitement, it begins here at Enterprise Center. The 2026 State Farm MVC Tournament, presented by Credit Union One, Great Southern Bank, and SSM Health, tips off on March 5th through 8th. Celebrate 50 years of the Valley's postseason championship. Get your tickets now at archmadness.com.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
For 100 years, KMOX has been a part of St. Louis. Now, those moments live on, preserved, remastered, and ready to be heard again. Discover KMOX from the Archives, a podcast featuring classic audio from a century of service.
Sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
The KMOX from the Archives podcast, available now at KMOX100.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Every spring brings promises, and every spring delivers surprises. This year, the Cardinals are writing a new story. There'll be plenty of surprises. Mac Pauley is in Jupiter with inside access to Camp Cardinals.
Presented by St. Louis Composting. Composting, growing gardens and making memories. And Happy Roof. We always create happy endings.
From breakout performances to roster revelations, get reports throughout the day on the voice of the Cardinals. KMOX. Now the news. At 1, the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:51, and it's time for us to check the roadways. I'm not sure if the fog is causing any issues this morning, but let's listen to Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's definitely out there, but it doesn't look like it's down to the deck anywhere that I've seen so far. But, of course, River Valley's hilly stretches could be a little worse than other areas. As traffic reports, the Service of Financial and Tax Strategies, we have backups all directions getting off onto 94 at 70 there, and it's St. Charles City. Report of an overturned vehicle crash just north of there. I can't see it on the camera. Again, lighter fog there. I don't think that's the issue. Also, a minor incident reported southbound 270 at the 70 exits just past the Rock Road, so watch it there. Northbound 270, Chestnut Ferry through Gravois, slow. Big Bend up through Manchester's a little busy. Northbound 55, the bulk of the volume is from the Union Road overpass up through about Loughborough. Some of it's backed up about midway through there. Southbound 61, a couple of spots south of Highway P down to 64 where it's a little busy. 70, Bryan Road to KM through TR Hughes. There's a little bit of volume there. And downtown eastbound 64 from the 70 split past 15th Street's backed up due to road work. Westbound both sides of 159 and then slow west of 3rd Street to the Poplar. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Retirement shouldn't feel like balancing a checkbook while blindfolded. I'm Gary Goldberg, and my team helps you see the big picture so you can retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety. Because guessing is not a strategy. Tune in to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
After this fog, we're going to see a cloudy, warm day today with a thunderstorm or two, high 68, 35 for the low tonight with windy conditions. It's going to be cold. Tomorrow, sunshine and some clouds, breezy, cooler, a high 47. It's 49 right now.
The news continues at 6:53 with the tax deadline approaching. Missouri's top attorneys say scammers are targeting stressed out taxpayers.
Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway says cyber criminals are sending fake emails, texts, and phone calls claiming you owe money or must verify information right away. She reminds Missourians that no legitimate tax authority will threaten arrest or demand immediate payment. The AG's office urges taxpayers to avoid clicking suspicious links, use trusted tax preparers, and report scams quickly. Missourians can call the Consumer Protection Hotline or file a complaint at ago.mo.gov. Matt Pilger, Missouri Net.
A pair of Branson magicians is going to court to fight federal charges of sexual exploitation of children. Gary and Janine Carson are accused of coercing kids to perform sexual acts for photos and video from January 2023 to June 2025. The Carsons also performed in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand and have been on a number of TV shows like Masters of Illusion. Their court date was just set for August 10th.
Most college students who do internships get paid for them, but apparently not if it's a teaching internship. According to the Illinois Education Association, a new poll shows 72% of Illinoisans strongly support paying college students as they complete the mandatory student teaching portion of their education.
IEA President Carl Gecke says we're in the midst of a nationwide teacher shortage. He says it's time for Illinois to put its money where its mouth is and stop putting even more financial stress on students studying to be teachers. The Illinois House has passed a bill allowing student teachers to be paid. It now heads to the Senate.
A midlife crisis used to mean buying a Corvette or a Porsche. Now it's Lego. This year's big toy fair in New York City revealed that adults now account for about a quarter of all toys purchased in the U.S.
It's why they've started making more expensive things like coloring books and puzzles for grown-ups to drones and 3D printer crafting sets. There's even a coffee table DJ kit for 40-somethings, and it's become such a big business, they've even got a name for them now, Kidults.
Okay.
All right. 6:55.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
Pair of singers celebrating a birthday, Smokey Robinson, 86. Seal, 63. Those are two big celebrity birthdays today.
And the birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back.
Oh, I got another singer. Sorry.
Family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com.
Chapel Roan.
Oh, Chapel Roan, Missouri's own Chapel Roan.
She is 28.
We'll call her a local celebrity birthday, and here are some others. Happy birthday to Uncle Davey from your St. Louis family. Jake Hansler is celebrating today. So are Patty Shevlin, Tom Doctor, Curtis Thornton, Francis Four, and happy birthday, Joe Lee from your buddy.
This is the best birthday ever.
If it's your birthday, why don't you do something nice and book a trip for yourself? You should go somewhere great. And we've got a wonderful trip planned for later this year. In September, we're doing an Arizona adventure. And this is going to be a perfect getaway for maybe a great girl trip, or a trip with your mom or your best friend or your spouse, whoever you want to take. This is going to be wonderful. And I hope you can join me and KMOX listeners as we head to Arizona. And we're going to be based in Flagstaff, which I understand in September is cooler and the crowds are fewer. So that's nice. And then we're going to explore Sedona's Red Rock Country, the Grand Canyon. We're going to take that incredible train ride around the Grand Canyon. The blue waters of Lake Powell will cruise. It's going to be one unforgettable trip, great history, adventure, reminding us of how incredibly beautiful America is. But even though it's in September, you got to sign up now so we can secure your seat. And all you need to do is go to travelwithdebbie.net. Travelwithdebbie.net has all the information, the itinerary, the pictures, the information, and how to get on board our 5-day trip to Arizona in September. Call 800-383-3131 or travelwithdebbie.net.
When you're injured on the job, you need more than just a workers' comp lawyer. When you need a fighter, you need us. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. For the people. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Join Mark Patrick Hypnosis. Lose the weight or stop smoking. Guaranteed only $59.99. Saturday, March 7th at the Residence Inn by Marriott, St. Louis Westport in St. Louis. Weight loss hypnosis starts at 11 a.m. Registration at 10:30 a.m. Stop smoking starts at 2 p.m. Registration 1:30 p.m.
How many of you think taxes will go up in the future? And if they do, who will get hit the hardest? Maybe it's you, headed for retirement. You've been saving in that 401k or IRA, and that money has never been taxed. And Uncle Sam is looking at that account like it's a big, juicy steak. What can you do about it? Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes in Retirement Seminar, Thursday, February 19th or Tuesday, February 24th. They believe a financial plan is not a retirement plan without a tax plan. Fund your retirement, not Uncle Sam's. Reserve your spot today by calling 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
6:59, Roger Brand. How did we look out there? Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's not bad, all things considered, Tom. They cleared that. It looks like it was a minor crash. I mentioned the last report, southbound 270 at the 70 exit. It's over to the shoulder. Traffic in those right lanes still kind of backed up coming through that area. North 270 doesn't look as bad now. There's just a slowdown north of 55 to Tesson Ferry and Doherty Ferry up to Manchester. South 270, like I said, just that Rock Road area in the right lanes, the only delays you have there. But south of there, you're good to go. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, Lake St. Louis through Bryan Road and East Oak to TR Hughes, just a couple of slow spots running that direction. If you're on northbound 55, you got the usual delays from the Union Road overpass, runs all the way up to about Holly Hills. Eastbound 64 jam from the 70 split through 15th Street. Westbound 64, a brief backup at 159, and then it's slow approaching the Poplar. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Vicki Barker in London. The law must take its course. King Charles III's reaction to word of the arrest of his younger brother, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, this morning. Andrew is in police custody this hour, being questioned on suspicion of misconduct in public office. This after revelations contained in the Epstein files suggesting that Andrew, while a royal trade envoy, may have shared confidential information with late convicted pedophile billionaire Jeffrey Epstein.
There were too many unanswered questions. Now he is going to be forced under police caution to answer some of those questions.
Vanity Fair royal correspondent Katie Nichol. Andrew's arrest apparently not connected to the sexual assault accusations leveled by the late Epstein accuser Virginia Giuffre, accusations Andrew has always denied. But her family has released a statement saying the arrest brings him closer to the accountability she fought for. Again, British police arrest Andrew Mountbatten Windsor with the full support of his older brother, King Charles. Now, with more CBS News, here's Deborah Rodriguez.
Rescuers in Northern California say 8 skiers have been found dead. Another is still missing in one of the deadliest avalanches in U.S. history. Correspondent Matt Gutman from Truckee, California.
As for the recovery, those 9 bodies remain up there on that mountain, and officials tell me the soonest they think they'll be able to get back up there is tomorrow.
A brutal windstorm across the Plains states has sparked at least half a dozen massive wildfires.
Good night. Look at that.
Oh, my gosh. Man, this is a big fire.
That couple in Beaver County, Oklahoma, astonished at the sight of whirlwinds of flame. They're called fire devils. CBS's Jason Allen is in Woodward.
Massive inferno doubling in size in just 24 hours in the Oklahoma Panhandle, burning more than 283,000 acres. Meanwhile, 2 large wildfires are growing outside Amarillo, Texas, the biggest in that state, now scorching at least 12,000 acres.
The U.S. may be on the verge of launching another round of airstrikes on Iran. Correspondent Charlie Daggett has been tracking the American military buildup in the region.
This is moving very quickly. So U.S. officials we spoke to said they're preparing for every contingency. Will be ready to strike as soon as Saturday. Now, that could range from limited airstrikes to what could be a drawn-out conflict with Iran.
The Pentagon has moved 2 aircraft carriers to the region, the Lincoln and the Ford. Sources tell CBS News President Trump hasn't made a final decision on whether to strike. From South Korea today, former President Yoon Suk-yeol was convicted and sentenced to life in prison for imposing martial law in 2024 to try to suppress the opposition. This is CBS News.
I want to know what's going on in the world. I'm Tony. There are big questions that all of us are asking. I want to get you the answers. How are you? I'm Tony DeCopel. Join me on the CBS Evening News.
Jen, I didn't know you shopped here. Hey, I'm hunting for something fresh for spring. Oh, girl, skip them all. Jewelry Television has the best spring looks right now. JTV, way ahead of you. Just hit up JTV.com yesterday, scored the cutest clover earrings, 2 tennis bracelets, and this gorgeous pearl ring.
Right now, new customers get $20 off any purchase of $99 or more at JTV.com.
Oh, and gold hoops and this turquoise bracelet. Just a couple things, huh? Maybe more than a couple.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
It is 7:04. We have a dense fog advisory for the listening area, and right now it's 51 degrees and a little foggy in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
I'm Tom Ackerman.
I'm Michael Calhoun. Nearly a decade after leaving for the East Coast, the brass at Boeing Defense is coming home. The aerospace giant is moving its defense headquarters back to St. Louis from Arlington, Virginia. Greater St. Louis Inc. managing partner Ron Kitchens tells us.
Every St. Louis, it reminds us and reinforces that we truly are the center of the world when it comes to defense and aviation, particularly for defense.
The defense unit had been based here since the historic 1997 merger with McDonnell Douglas until executives relocated to the Washington, D.C. metro area in 2017. Boeing says bringing that leadership back to Missouri will help them better support the company's 18,000 local employees and the products they make.
We have new information on the most recent measles case in the St. Louis metro area. KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer reports.
The Illinois Department of Public Health has now confirmed that the adult measles case at Lambert Airport on February 7th and just reported by the Missouri Department of Health is the same one it is investigating in Illinois. The person flew into Terminal 2 at Lambert and then rode a shuttle to get their car before driving to Collinsville and attending services at Good Shepherd Lutheran Church the following day. Anyone who was on the affected flight or at the church service has been notified directly about how to identify possible measles symptoms over the next 2 weeks. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
If you're driving by SLU Hospital this morning, you may see a protest. Union registered nurses across the country are holding a day of action to protest what they call one of the worst public health threats, ICE, and the Trump administration's immigration enforcement. Members of National Nurses United, the nation's largest union and professional association of RNs, say ICE and Customs and Border Patrol are directly injuring, traumatizing, maiming, and even killing immigrants and U.S. citizens.
They are also calling out detention centers where at least 40 people have died and where highly contagious diseases like measles flourish. The nurses are calling on Congress to stop funding ICE and CBP. They also blame hospital executives for failing to clearly side with nurses and immigrant patients by keeping ICE out of hospitals.
The body of a missing 18-year-old was identified yesterday. The body recovered from the Mississippi River near Festus has been identified as Juanita Gibson. Barge workers on the Mississippi River discovered Gibson's body near River Cement Road, just south of Festus. Gibson was reported missing from St. Louis City on December 24th. An investigation into the official cause of death is underway.
A St. Louis County man sentenced to 90 months in jail for carjacking a 72-year-old. 25-year-old Kirk Hall and another man stole the victim's BMW in July 2023. The woman had just parked in an apartment complex about 1 a.m. when she was ordered out of the car by the other gunman who took off in the victim's car. Then Hall followed in another vehicle. He admitted to the carjacking back in November.
Also in the news this morning, we will have a forecast that does show a bit of warmth, but a thunderstorm that is on the way. We'll have much more from Joe Lundberg upcoming, including traffic at 7:08.
I'm Dr. Colleen Bosler with the Audiology Center, and I'm talking with my associate, Dr. Adam Voss. What happens to a person's brain when they ignore their hearing loss?
There is such a strong connection between the ear and the brain. Ignoring your hearing loss can cause the brain to become lazy and the speech areas in the brain to shrink. This is partially why you can hear the words, but you cannot understand them. If a hearing loss goes untreated for too long, it may cause an irreversible change in the brain. It is incredibly important to have your hearing screened at 60 or older, or sooner if you're noticing difficulty. And the sooner someone treats their hearing loss, the better and quicker their brain will adapt to hearing sound again. Studies show that those who get hearing aids, even with a mild hearing loss, are much more successful hearing aid users as compared to those that wait longer.
So call us today to get your comprehensive hearing evaluation with one of our doctors. 636-441-7470. Or visit us online, theaudiologycenterstl.com.
Celebrate jazz legend John Coltrane with the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra in a special one-night-only event, Coltrane 100 Legacy. Celebrate Coltrane's creative genius through powerful orchestral arrangements of his most groundbreaking works. Curated and arranged by acclaimed composer Carlos Simon, this performance features saxophone icon Joe Lovano in a journey from Coltrane's early classics to his late visionary masterpieces. It's jazz, symphony, and legacy, all in one unforgettable night with your St. Louis Symphony Orchestra. February 28th at 7:30 p.m. at Powell Hall. Tickets at slso.org.
Looking for your dream home in Wentzville? Welcome to Sutton Farms by Lombardo Homes, where community and comfort come together. Enjoy resort-style living with a private clubhouse, indoor courts, a splash pad, sand volleyball, walking trails, and even a dog park. Design your own custom home in our Parkside, Nature, or Tradition series, all within the top-rated Wentzville School District. Discover the perfect blend of small-town charm and modern convenience at Sutton Farms, located off Piney Road in Wentzville. Visit LombardoHomes.com to learn more.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is now 7:09, and it's getting a little foggier downtown. So just keep in mind, we have a dense fog advisory in effect this morning. Let's get the latest on the roadways and your ride in from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center and Roger Brand.
Well, you're right, Debbie. The fog looks a little worse in spots. I was just looking at it 370 at the Discovery Bridge, and visibility looks a little more restricted there. So use caution, especially in the river valleys, hilly stretches. You may find it a little worse than other spots. Interstate-wise, though, we're not bad as far as volume goes. Northbound 55, you've got some slow traffic from the Union Road overpass to River to Pear, Loughborough, Holly Hills, a little crowded after that. Northbound 270, 55 to Tesson Ferry, approaching Gravois and Doherty Ferry to Manchester. The slowest stretches there. Eastbound 64 east of Prospect, there's a little volume. 70, actually a slowdown right through Mid-Rivers right now. Normally don't see it quite at that spot. On the Illinois side, eastbound 64, you still have this emergency repair work going on east of 15th Street. Right lane's closed. It's a solid jam back through 70, so you know you're going to have another rough afternoon today and tomorrow. In fact, that road work is scheduled to go on through Monday morning, I believe. Westbound 64, you have slow going both sides of 159, and then west of 3rd Street headed to the Poplar. And it looks like westbound 70 is still closed at 179. That's the exit out there west of Columbia before you get to Boonville. Fatal tractor-trailer crash that occurred earlier this morning, so they're diverting you off the highway at that point. Just a heads up if you're headed out Kansas City way right now. Next update is 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Areas of fog to start today. Otherwise, we'll see clouds and breaks of sunshine. It'll be warm. Look for a thunderstorm or two to cross the area, any of which could produce hail and damaging wind gusts. The high today, 68. Skies will be clear early tonight, then look for some cloud late. It'll turn windy and colder with time, though 35. Tomorrow, sunshine mixed with clouds, breezy and chilly, the high 47. For Saturday, clouds and sun, brisk and chilly, high 44. From the Soliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We have fog in downtown St. Louis, a cloudy sky, 50 degrees at the Arch.
It is now 7:12. Britain's former Prince Andrew has been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. CBS News correspondent Rami Inocencio has more from our London bureau.
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor was arrested at Sandringham, the private estate of his brother King Charles, about 3 hours north of London. On suspicion, Andrew, as trade envoy in the 2000s, shared confidential information with Jeffrey Epstein about investment opportunities around the world, including Afghanistan and Hong Kong.
Prince Andrew has denied all wrongdoing. During his State of the State address in Springfield, Illinois, Governor J.B. Pritzker didn't mince words about what he called a lack of cooperation from leadership in Washington.
The governor took President Trump to task in a number of ways, including financially. Accused his administration of illegally confiscating billions of dollars in funding for Illinois.
These are not handouts. These are dollars that real Illinoisans paid in federal taxes and that have been constitutionally approved by our elected Democratic and Republican representatives in Washington.
Governor Pritzker vowed to maintain a balanced budget regardless, commended Illinoisans for defending neighbors amid heightened immigration enforcement, and urged lawmakers on both sides of the aisle to stand up against the president.
Right now, in this country, we are not fighting over policy or political party. We are fighting over whether we are going to be a civilization rooted in empathy and kindness, or one rooted in cruelty and rage.
Andy Dane, WBBM.
Southern Illinois Representative Patrick Windhorst thinks Governor Pritzker's priorities are out of order.
Instead of focusing on property tax relief, public safety, pension stability, improving our business climate, and growing our workforce, the administration has directed billions toward programs and services of individuals who are in this country illegally, while many Illinois citizens are struggling to afford groceries, gas, and rising utility bills.
Will Missouri do away with vehicle inspections? That's what a bill passed Monday by the Missouri House would do for most vehicles. It would cease biannual vehicle inspections for any car, truck, or other vehicle with more than 150,000 miles or is at least 10 years old. Republican House member Mazzy Christensen, who voted for the bill, says many nearby states no longer have vehicle inspections.
As I was driving here to Jefferson City, I was reminded about how Minnesota and Iowa does not have safety inspections on personal vehicles. Arkansas, Illinois, we can go on and on and on. Their vehicles look the exact same as ours.
Democrats, including Melissa Douglas of Kansas City, say vehicle inspections were put in place to protect the public. The bill passed 104 to 43 along a mostly party line vote. It's now in the Missouri Senate for more work. Megan Lynch talks with KMOX auto expert Greg Damon coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. It's 7:15. Mizzou basketball up 21 late in the game last night at home against Vanderbilt. Almost lost it all. Almost. But they got the win. They topped number 19 Vanderbilt 81-80. The Tigers improved to 18-8 on the season, 8-5 in SEC play. That's the key. If they can get to 10 SEC wins, that should be enough to get them into the NCAA tournament picture. And that was a iffy game at best, but Dennis Gates is reminding people, hey, we won the game. It was not a loss. They won. Missouri made 44% of its shots, but could not knock down a shot where Vanderbilt came alive late in the second half. They could not win it. They drop it 81-80 at Mizzou. As for Illinois, they are not having any issues right now. They smoked Indiana on Sunday by 20. They crushed USC last night out in L.A., 101-65. The 10th-ranked Illini had 6 players in double figures, including Andrei Stojakovic, who returned from a high ankle sprain to contribute 17 minutes off the bench and 22 points. He was phenomenal. Illinois looks like a machine right now as they had those 2 overtime losses to Michigan State and Wisconsin, and since then they have looked dominant. Illinois State and Southern Illinois both won their Missouri Valley Conference matchups. Illinois State beat Murray State 78-61, and Southern Illinois went up and beat Drake 66-61. Kennesaw State beat Missouri State 91-87. U.S. men's hockey, a win, a narrow win, but they got it in overtime, 2-1 over Sweden. Quinn Hughes had the winner in OT. Mitch Marner got the winner for Canada in a 4-3 win over Czechia, and it was Jordan Bennington making terrific saves for Canada to get them in position to win 4-3 in OT. That would have been a bad loss for Canada, but they get the win, and they are 1 win away, as the U.S. is as well, from facing each other in the gold medal game. That's what the women will do today. It's the U.S. against Canada for the gold medal in women's hockey at the Winter Olympics. Now, let's turn our attention to baseball.
Now, a St. Louis Cardinals spring training report, sponsored by St. Louis Composting. Composting, growing gardens and making memories. And by Happy Roof, we always create happy endings on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Cardinals outfielder Lars Nootbaar reports to camp a couple days late after he continued his rehab for double heel surgery in California. Speaking about the pain, Nootbaar says he was limited in life and baseball the last couple years.
There were points where I couldn't walk up and down stairs without really gripping a rail, and I just felt like
I was 26, 27, going on 28 now. And I know guys play through pain, but this feels a little bit more than what people probably play through on a daily basis.
He is hopeful to re-find his athleticism after the surgery.
Now being able to hopefully be out there and be healthy and be able to run around and train and condition and do all the things to get my body really primed to play 162 or however many. I'm really excited about that. It doesn't necessarily reflect exactly in the performance, but it's going to give me confidence, put my body in a good spot. And, you can only think that's going to benefit me. But it's funny, running in an altered G treadmill this offseason has been the most conditioning I've been able to do in a long time because of the pain in the offseason that I go through.
There is still no timetable for him to be medically cleared to play, but if he misses the start of the season, an extended absence is not expected. In Jupiter, Florida at Cardinal Spring Training, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Create the ultimate raised bed garden with St. Louis Composting. Our premium compost and soil mixes are perfect for filling the raised beds you'll enjoy building, and even better for growing fresh, homegrown veggies. Imagine harvesting your own tomatoes, peppers, and cilantro for fresh salsa the whole family can enjoy. And with delivery right to your door, getting started has never been easier. Visit stlcompost.com to order a convenient delivery from your phone in seconds, or stop by one of our 9 locations in the St. Louis area. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories.
Winter is tough on homes. Ice and wind often lead hidden damage you can't see from the ground. Don't wait for the first spring showers to discover a leak. Get the Happy Roofers Spring Readiness Checkup today. We perform a thorough, risk-free inspection to ensure your roof is solid. With our Spring Smile Guarantee, you get guaranteed workmanship and total peace of mind. We always deliver happy endings. Visit thehappyroofer.com or call 314-665-3001.
Well, my good friend Jim Brennan has done it again. He has a great area in Cottleville. It's called Cottleville Trails from McKelvey Homes. Jim is the president of McKelvey Homes, and he knows homes. He knows home sites, and apparently he knows sandwiches as well, because he says that Menino's Market, their deli, is phenomenal in downtown Cottleville. So here's the situation. Cottleville Trails, McKelvey Homes, a great community, 5 lakes, pool, playground, Francis House schools, and you can take a golf cart or walk to downtown Cottleville to Menino's Market. So I went down the rabbit hole and I started looking at Menino's Market. Quality meats, house-made pies in a nostalgic, traditional market setting is their Yelp review. And it made me hungry just looking at it. Jim does that to me. He starts talking about all these great areas of St. Louis that I'd like to explore. If you're looking at Cottleville, look no further than Cottleville Trails. McKelvey Homes, McKelveyHomes.com. Move up to McKelvey.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Let's take a look at the roadways and the weather. Both are kind of intertwined today because we do have a dense fog advisory. And it looks like it's spreading because it wasn't really foggy downtown about an hour ago. Anyway, let's check in with Roger Brand and see what he's seeing from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, it's definitely not clearing out. You're right, Debbie. Some places look worse now than they did. Of course, when it was dark, it was harder to tell, but it definitely doesn't look like it's thinning out as far as the fog goes anytime soon. Highways aren't thinning out either. They're busy. North 55, the right lanes through Butler Hill to 270. All lanes, Union Road overpass up to River to Pear, the usual backup there. North 270 from 55, most of the way to 44 slow. Doherty Ferry up toward Manchester, and after that, it's not as bad. Eastbound 64, a little busy past Prospect, 70 past Highway K. And again, other than that, not so bad on the eastbound runs. Westbound 64, we've got some slow traffic from Hampton out to Big Bend. On the Illinois side, eastbound 64 jams. The 70 split almost up to 25th Street, the emergency road repair in those right lanes. Westbound 64, the roadwork delays west of 50 through 159, and then it's slow, just Route 3 to the Poplar. So, again, that's not quite so bad right now. Next update is 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And I am starting to look at this radar, Roger, and what I'm seeing is some rain falling right now just west of Herman, Missouri. So here it comes. It's raining in Columbia right now and really getting some rain in Jefferson City. AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg says a thunderstorm or two today. Cloudy and warm, high 68. Tonight, low 35. And then tomorrow's high is 47. It's 50 right now.
The news continues at 7:22. The extreme contagiousness of the measles in unvaccinated St. Louis residents has local health experts closely watching for any sign of possible spread in our area. This follows a case that recently passed through Lambert Airport. KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer spoke with Washington University Medicine infectious diseases specialist Dr. Stephen Lawrence.
Well, we just learned of a case that is an Illinois resident that had come through and been on an airplane and landed at Lambert Airport. And there aren't that many details yet, but those, of course, are going to be the focus of the investigation of both local and state public health officials.
How contagious is the measles?
Well, measles is the most contagious viral illness that we know. It is sort of the granddaddy of contagiousness. On average, if you had a room full of people and that had not been previously vaccinated, in other words, they were completely susceptible to it, this virus on average would infect about 15 other individuals. So it really does have more contagiousness than any other viral illness that we know of.
How long until you can experience symptoms, and what are the symptoms?
Well, the symptoms of measles often start off with, very nonspecific, but things, like fevers, not feeling very well. The real classic finding is that it is a rash that you develop, and the rash and a fever, the most common things, sometimes red eyes and a runny nose. Those are the most common presentations of measles. Sometimes it can be a little milder, though. In those rare instances where people who have been fully vaccinated can still get a milder breakthrough infection. After somebody's exposed, if they are going to get sick from measles, it generally occurs between 7 and 21 days later, but on average about 11 or 12 days after exposure.
What's the treatment for the measles?
Well, treatment for measles is mostly just supportive care measures, we call it, taking care of the symptoms, trying to treat those, and if there are any complications occur that may be necessary to be treated in a hospital for more severe cases. But there are antiviral medicines that are available specifically for measles, like there are for flu and for COVID.
Let's talk about the vaccine. What do we need to know about it?
Well, the most important thing to know about the vaccine is that it is one of, if not the most effective vaccines that we have versus any infection, for preventing it. A single dose gives people lifetime protection of 93% protection, reduced the risk of getting infected if they get exposed, and 2 doses over a lifetime is 97% effective. Those are numbers that are better than really any other vaccine, with the possible exception of the smallpox vaccine that helped to eradicate smallpox back in the 1970s. So the vaccine it does take a couple of weeks to work. And it's one of the reasons why, measles cases had up until very recently been incredibly rare in the United States because the high degree of vaccination that had been across the country. As numbers drop, there are fewer people, and this is a childhood vaccine. Almost everybody, historically would get this vaccine during childhood. When we had numbers approaching 90, 95, or even 97% of all children in a region that get vaccinated, we don't see any measles because there's so very few people who are susceptible that would be able to sustain an outbreak. And so for many years in the last, for 25 years, from around 2000 to 2025, measles outbreaks were very rare in the United States. We've seen now since really over the last year, a loss of that, what we call elimination status, which we appear to be losing in the United States because we've had ongoing and sustained measles transmission for about a year now that started with an outbreak in Texas about a year ago. And the fuel for those outbreaks really is when the vaccination level in a region or a community falls below, say, in the 95 and below 90%, that really puts communities at risk that if there is a measles case that gets introduced into the community and 5, 10 or more % of the population isn't immune, then that is what can lead to bigger outbreaks.
Dr. Stephen Lawrence is a Washington University medicine infectious diseases specialist.
It's 7:27. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie, I think this is going to be a strange season for real estate. Just kind of feel it in my gut. What can people do apropos of their mortgage to put themselves in a better position to get that house?
You know what, Dave, that's a great question. There's a bidding wars that are going to happen this spring. You want to get the house. This is how you're going to make things better. Number one, we give you the power of the pre-approval letter. That means you can go into our portal and generate the letter and edit it for any amount you want up to the amount you're approved without chasing the loan officer. Number two, the bagel loan, no closing costs, no title fees, no lender fees, no appraisal fees. It's a bagel. Bagel looks like a zero, easy to remember. Add that money you would normally pay onto your bid and beat the other offers out. And you know what? The third thing is we can close fast. 10 days. They're going to look away at the other offers because most lenders take as much as 30 days to get done.
You can call or text Stewie at his personal cell phone, 314-324-4440, or you can Google the bagel loan in MLS 226715.
Are you turning 65 or new to Medicare? Humana knows not everyone has the same needs when picking a Medicare Advantage plan.
Now that I'm retired, I want to enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm traveling the country.
Humana has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that fills in the gaps my VA coverage doesn't provide, like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
I feel good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs. No surprises.
Humana has a plan for that. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your nature-made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
It is 7:30. It's foggy in downtown St. Louis and 51 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Let's see how it looks out there. Roger Brand, overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, getting busier, and again, the fog is an issue some spots, but I don't see it down to the Decany place, but some places it does look a little worse. Northbound 55, you've got the usual slow going coming through Butler Hill to 270 in the right lanes, and then all lanes from the Union Road overpass pretty much all the way up to Holly Hills is bogged down. As you ramp on from 55, North 270 is slow most of the way to 44, and then Big Bend in pockets up towards 64 and Ladue. Not a solid delay, but busy at several spots. Southbound 270, Olive to Ladue is slow. Eastbound Highway 70, Bryan Road through Highway K is the busiest stretch there. Eastbound 64 between Prospect and Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Chesterfield Parkway West through Clarkson's a little slow and briefly at the Interbelt. Westbound 64 from almost the Science Center to Big Bend is a slower pace. Eastbound 64 on the Illinois side, approaching the 70 split past 15th Street jam due to road work. Westbound 64, more of a jam now from just west of 50 through 159 due to road work. And then west of 3rd Street to the Poplar across to the Missouri side. It's slow, and also seeing a little slowdown. Westbound 70 at the city limits and westbound 270. Looks like we have a stall near New Florissant. It's a little busy there. Next update is 740 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is going to be a foggy morning. We do have a dense fog advisory in effect. But aside from that, today we're looking at a thunderstorm or two. So this is when the big change is going to happen because it's been pretty warm. Any thunderstorms we see today could produce hail and damaging winds. We're going to have a high of 68, but then turning colder as we head into the evening. So by tomorrow, the sunshine returns, but the high just 47 degrees, 44 with sun and clouds on Saturday, 35 as the high for Sunday and Monday. Right now it is 52 degrees.
It's 7:32. The FDA has reversed a decision it made last week and now says it will review Moderna's new flu vaccine for approval.
The new flu vaccine is based on mRNA technology, which helped the United States quickly develop a COVID vaccine 5 years ago. The FDA last week rejected Moderna's application for review of the new vaccine, saying the company's research on it was flawed. The Cambridge, Massachusetts company is hoping to get the flu vaccine intended for people 50 and older approved in time for the next flu season. The FDA has now set an August deadline to decide whether to approve the vaccine. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Wood River is going Hollywood. The Wood River City Council unanimously approved the sale of the Envirotech Business Park this week for the development of Hollywood River Studios. The development totals $95 million and would include up to 6 sound and production studios for film and TV projects. According to the Post-Dispatch, it would also include an esports arena.
Chris Breakwell, the Pittsburgh-based developer, says it would create several hundred permanent jobs with productions, bringing in up to 500 temporary jobs. Clearing the land is beginning soon, with construction set to begin in the fall. The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's 7:33. We'll check your money minute next.
Amy,
Yes.
I have a real beef with bathroom doors in hotels. The stupid sliding door. No, give me a fully shut door, because the sliding door, you know what happens? There's always a gap.
There's a gap.
And so if you have a partner with you in the hotel room, there are sounds and smells and steam.
It puts a new meaning to the word butt crack.
The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays starting at 9 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Time is valuable. That's why Lowe's Blueprint Takeoffs turn blueprints into quotes faster. Bring us your plans, and we'll generate itemized material lists to make quoting easier so you can get back to building. Plus, at the Lowe's Pro Desk, you get access to thousands of building materials not sold in store. And when your order's ready, we'll deliver everything to the job site. Improving is easy at Lowe's.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
It is now 7:35, and it's time for your money report from Bloomberg. It's sponsored this hour by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. A judge says TikTok should have to face California's claims the platform's features are addictive and harmful to kids. In a tentative ruling, the judge says the company isn't immune from the state's allegations. The platform preys on young people through algorithms that keep them scrolling to maximize profits. U.S. officials are threatening major changes to a trade agreement with Mexico and Canada that could upend the way business is done. According to the New York Times, the changes could leave Canada on the outs. Bill Gates has backed out of a speech at a high-profile AI summit in India just hours before he was set to speak. The Microsoft co-founder has come under criticism for his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. The grandson of the Reese's Peanut Butter Cups creator is slamming Hershey for allegedly switching to cheaper ingredients to make the iconic snacks. 70-year-old Brad Reese tells the New York Post they're lowering the quality of the ingredients. I'm John Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
For nearly 100 years, Busey Wealth Management has helped families and businesses make smart financial decisions that stand the test of time. From personalized investment plans to tax strategies that work for you, we take a big picture approach, connecting you with the right experts to help protect what you've built and plan for what's next. Busey Wealth Management, here for every chapter of your financial story.
Over here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs' attorneys. And for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-ALL-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based on advertising.
It seems like this weather is going to continue. The cold weather is going to continue here in St. Louis and Illinois for the foreseeable future to finish out the winter. Now, if you have been unlucky or you don't want to wait till you're unlucky and you need your furnace fixed or even replaced, call me. We can get your furnace next day. Sometimes we, depending on the manufacturer, it's not us, but just depending on the manufacturer, if they have the parts available and here in St. Louis or Illinois, we can get you that day. But either way, if you're having problems with the furnace or you want to prevent problems with the furnace, call me, Bart Inman. One easy number, the easiest number in Missouri and Illinois, just one number. That number is 314-293-2600. Again, 314-293-2600, or on the internet, it's Bart Inman. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. YourIDoc.com.
Working full-time but still falling behind? Learn how real estate education can help you build income and get ahead on your terms. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
It's men's Billikens basketball action Friday night as they face VCU. Pre-game 5:45, tip at 6 on your home for Billikens basketball. King of OX.
Huge game for first place in the Atlantic 10 Conference that day. Roger Brand, you are in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, fog's still an issue out there, Tom. It still looks pretty foggy in North County as I was taking a look at that. I can't quite see the stall that was out there reportedly, but it's near New Florissant, and traffic's sort of slow right around Washington, Elizabeth into the area. Not a jam, so it's not bad. If you're heading in on eastbound Highway 70, Lake St. Louis Boulevard, most of the way into Highway K, it's pretty congested running through there. We had a crash that just cleared to the shoulder there. They're reporting a stall in the right lane. Westbound 70 near Riverview, I'm seeing some slow traffic west of Kings Highway out to that point. If you're on eastbound 64, it's kind of busy. East of Prospect sorts itself out before you get to Lake St. Louis Boulevard through the Chesterfield Parkways and then McKnight through 170. Westbound 64 back up from Kings Highway goes to Big Bend. It's a little slow. Spady Ballast. South 170 bogs down at the Parkway. South 270, 364 to Ladue is slow. Northbound 270, back up as you ramp on from 55. And then it's slow through Gravois, north of 44 to Manchester, Clayton Road up to Ladue, so pockets along the way. Eastbound 30 West Watson to 270 is pretty congested. Northbound 55 has the usual delays from the Union Road overpass. Runs all the way up through Virginia. Not a solid jam, but pretty busy most of the way through there. Downtown eastbound 44 parked at the Poplar slow. Eastbound 64 jams from the 70 split through 25th Street due to road work. Westbound from 50 through 159's jammed, and then it's slow 3rd Street across the Poplar after that. Next update at 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
As it gets foggier in downtown St. Louis, let's check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg.
It's a temporary increasing of the fog. It will decrease over the next couple of hours, and then we'll see clouds and some breaks of sun today. It'll be warm. There can be a shower, even a thunderstorm in places. Any of those thunderstorms can produce hail and damaging winds, and our high gets to 68. Then a cold front comes through. The wind will pick up behind it. It clears out tonight. By morning, we're down in the mid-30s, and tomorrow will be a breezy, much chillier day with sun and some clouds and a high only 47. We'll stay in the mid-40s on Saturday with clouds and sun. Might not even get out of the 30s on Sunday despite plenty of sunshine. A cold start to next week with sunshine Monday and a high 36. Then we get back to 50 or better by Tuesday. 46 degrees at St. Peter's. It's 51 in Florissant. Mostly cloudy with some fog, and 53 degrees downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's 7:42. The former Prince Andrew has been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. This news breaking earlier this morning from London. The former British prince, stripped of his royal titles because of his links to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Police there said that a man in his 60s from Norfolk in eastern England was arrested and remained in custody. The force did not identify the suspect, in line with standard procedure in Britain. The former prince is 66, moved to his brother King Charles III's estate in Norfolk after he was evicted from his longtime home near Windsor Castle. After the arrest, Charles said that the law must take its course in the investigation of his brother.
A new state audit reveals Missouri's multi-billion-dollar marijuana industry was launched using a flawed licensing process that cost taxpayers millions in legal fees. State Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick releasing a report giving the state's marijuana program a fair rating. The audit found significant issues with the state's 2019 blind scoring process for business licenses.
According to the report, applicants who secretly snuck identifying information into their paperwork were awarded licenses at an 83% rate. Meanwhile, applicants who followed the rules and remained anonymous had only a 15% success rate. Fitzpatrick says the botched rollout forced the state to spend more than $12.5 million fighting lawsuits and administrative appeals.
Kansas City's upcoming World Cup matches have Missouri lawmakers zeroing in on drone safety at major events. A new bill would let police step in if a drone threatens a crowd. The bill's sponsor, Kansas City area Republican Mike Jones, says the FBI will train officers to use electronic tools to bring a drone down.
They're going to tap into that frequency and be able to move that drone safely away from the crowd and put it down on the ground somewhere that's no longer a threat.
If passed, the bill would crack down on drones flying over power plants and other sensitive locations.
As the controversy continues over which flags are allowed at Energizer Park, St. Louis City SC is emphasizing the use of designated theme nights. The club is restricting many social justice banners for most matches, but is allowing them at specific times. President Diego Giuliani says those theme nights are built into the schedule.
The policy has always said flags, banners, and signs are allowed as long as they are related to the match. That is an important distinction. We want people to bring in flags, banners, and signs that are about our players, about our teams, and we're also welcoming of flags, banners, and signs that are related to our theme nights.
This Saturday's home opener will serve as the club's Black History Month celebration, meaning those kinds of signs will be permitted for the game. The club's Pride Night is currently scheduled for later this fall on September 19th. Those comments came from last night's City Spotlight on KMOX with Jen Cease and Bill McDermott. They sat down with City CEO Carolyn Kindle.
As this team continues to come together, Carolyn, there's been a lot of movement in the squad so far. You touched upon that, not just in the soccer team, but in the front office as well. And the big question a lot of the fans are asking, if indeed the right scenario presents itself, are you willing to invest?
And
This
her
Vicious
answer?
Ownership Group. And if you look at the worldwide technology side and the enterprise mobility side, these are very, very driven, competitive people that want to win. So we have talked to Corey and said, yes, we are willing to make the investment. But as we've seen, sometimes putting money, lots of money doesn't necessarily make you a good team. It really comes down to the player. Is it the right fit? Yep. Are you the right person? Do you understand the style of play? So the question isn't, will we? The question is, of course we will. We just need to make sure we find that right person that understands what the vision of the club is.
That is Carolyn Kindle, the CEO of St. Louis City SC. Again, they open this Saturday against Charlotte FC. It's going to be a busy day. We will have the Cardinals opener on that day. It'll be St. Louis and Washington from Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium in Jupiter, Florida. Let's go there now. KMOX's Matt Pauley with the latest.
Barr might only be 28, but he's now one of the old guys on the Cardinals roster, something that feels odd to him.
It's crazy. I don't know if they still have it. I know at the old complex, they had like the pictures of the players that debuted with the Cardinals. I'd be the first one on that list, and that feels weird to say. I still feel young.
As the roster changes dramatically coming into the season, Newt Barr misses some of his old teammates, including now Diamondbacks third baseman Nolan Arenado.
I'm going to miss Nato, obviously a good friend of mine, but we FaceTime last night. I'm staying in his place, so it's almost as if, he's still here. And so if I have any questions about the house, I just call him.
Newt Barr goes from being a teammate to a tenant of Arenado.
He's my landlord, which kind of sucks, but it's all right.
Newt Barr reporting to camp a couple days late as he continues to rehab his offseason double heel surgery. In Jupiter, Florida at Cardinal Spring Training, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
College basketball scoreboard from last night. Number 10, Illinois thumps USC on the road, 101-65. Tremendous win for Illinois. They have 6 players in double figures, including Andrei Stojakovic, back from a high ankle sprain, 17 minutes, 22 points for Stojakovic last night. Missouri beat number 19 Vanderbilt 81-80, but they almost blew a 21-point second half lead, but they get the win. Another key win for them. They're 2 wins away from that magic number of 10 conference wins. If they could get to 10 SEC wins, a lot of people think that might be enough to get them into the NCAA tournament. In the Missouri Valley Conference, Illinois State beat Murray State 78-61. Southern Illinois won at Drake 66-61. Missouri State dropped one at home to Kennesaw State 91-87. At the Winter Olympics, Michaela Schifrin got her gold, winning in the slalom, and the U.S. men's hockey team beat Sweden 2-1 in overtime. They move on to play Slovakia. Canada also snuck by, beating Czechia 4-3 in overtime. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals and the Billikens, 104.1 FM KMOX.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WEB-NOW1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Barnes Jewish Hospital and WashU Medicine physicians have long been leaders in heart and vascular care. Now, we're taking the patient experience to another level by opening our new state-of-the-art patient tower, designed specifically with heart patients in mind. By combining the latest technology with thoughtful design and private rooms, heart patients can experience faster healing, reduce stress, and improved outcomes. Learn more at barnesjewish.org/heart.
St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history.
This is Harry Carey from the beautiful new Busch Memorial Stadium.
From moment to memory.
Cardinal football on the move.
Among those voices, Bob Hamilton.
When I was in high school, I decided I wanted to go to radio.
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
It is 7:51, time for traffic and weather. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got slow going on westbound 270 in North County, Debbie, and fog as well. From about New Halls Ferry all the way up through New Florissant, and we had a report of a stall in the area there. It's not a jam, but it is pretty busy. They cleared that stall westbound 70 near Riverview. Still a little slow, Goodfellow Jennings Station. Eastbound, you've got a backup approaching Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Sorts itself out by the time you get to Bryan Road. There was an incident there. Southbound 270 approaching 364 through Olive. Slow north 270 as you ramp on from 55 through Gravel and 44 most of the way up through 64. That's all pretty slow. Eastbound 64 east of Annie Guns to about Timberlake. Lindbergh all the way in through to Big Bend is heavy. South 170 bogs down at Delmar. Westbound 64 approaching Hampton to Big Bend is slow. Westbound 44 from Grand out through the Kings Highway area is heavy. Eastbound 44 east of Elmdale at Fleet Station, kind of off the pace. Northbound 55, the backup bails through River to Paris, still kind of slow past Virginia. And then Park out on the westbound 70 past the Musial Veterans Bridge. Eastbound 64, still that jam through the 70 split to 15th Street due to road work. Westbound a solid jam 50 through 159 due to road work. And 64 from 3rd Street to the Poplar is still heavy. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, a lot of cars out there, a lot of fog. We have seen that, and we are going to get that cleared up, but we are also bracing for a thunderstorm or two today, a high of 68. Windy, colder tonight, low 35, and tomorrow sunshine, but cooler, a high of 47 degrees. It's 50 right now.
The news continues at 7:52. Most college students who do internships get paid for them, but apparently not if it's a teaching internship. According to Illinois Education Association, a new poll shows 72% of Illinoisans strongly support paying college students as they complete the mandatory student teaching portion of their education.
IEA President Carl Gecky says we're in the midst of a nationwide teacher shortage. He says it's time for Illinois to put its money where its mouth is and stop putting even more financial stress on students studying to be teachers. The Illinois House has passed a bill allowing student teachers to be paid.
Researchers at Washington University School of Medicine in St. Louis have developed a method to predict when someone is likely to develop symptoms of Alzheimer's disease using a single blood test. The researchers, including Dr. Suzanne Schindler, found that their models predicted the onset of Alzheimer's symptoms with a margin of 3 to 4 years.
Right now, these models are only good enough that they can be used in clinical trials, but we think they'll get better, and we're hopeful that within a couple of years, we can use these blood tests to really help people understand when they might develop symptoms of Alzheimer's disease.
The findings of the research could lead to development of treatment of Alzheimer's, which affects more than 7 million Americans.
A new study finds we're all starting to sound the same.
That wasn't very nice. Now he's got to leave.
A survey from WordFinder finding the New York accent is slowly disappearing from everyday use.
Forget about it.
So is New England's regionalese.
Matt Damon and Tom Brady don't have the heart of a champion.
Fading at the highest rate, the Southern drawl, Louisiana Creole accents, and the Appalachian dialect.
You know that old Shackledy house over in Pinhook? That's where Pap used to live.
Further down the list, Philadelphia's mid-Atlantic mashup. Want some worder to wash down your hoagie? Least endangered, inland northern, Pacific Northwest, and Southwestern accents. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Well, that's
New
an
York.
interesting story.
We see what you did there.
Very good. That's a good story. I like that.
Yeah,
I can still tell them apart.
Yeah, I think the hardest accent to imitate for me is a Boston accent.
Boston.
Like New York, you can do New York, Boston. I don't know. Boston's tough.
I like that. Tom Brady doesn't have the hot.
He's wicked smart. We are spending less at restaurants, and that has restaurants cooking up some new ideas. We get that story from CBS's Jennifer Kuiper.
68% of U.S. consumers say they are cutting back on restaurant spending this year, paying around $90 per week, down from $115 last June. Pop Menu CEO and co-founder Brendan Sweeney also says in response,
restaurants are sharpening their focus on guest experience, doing things that you can't do at home, doing things that you can't do in the store. I mean, 97% of restaurant operators say they're going to improve their guest experience this year.
Sweeney says some restaurants are also adopting AI for everything from food prep to writing marketing content to entice customers. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
It's 7:56.
Hey, Happy New Year, big boy. Hey, what's up, Izzy? Also known as the Kool-Aid Man. You got any New Year's resolutions?
I got one, Eddie. I've promised myself to spend more time on that toasty warm, huge, heated outdoor patio of yours. It's nothing like having your coat off, drinking the coldest beer in town with hundreds of your family, friends.
Man, it is a toasted patio, and that's a great resolution. And, thanks for not mentioning things like weight loss and health kick. And those would be hard in Fast Eddie's. It'd be hard to lose any kind of weight or take away from anything when you got the 5-pound Fat Eddie burger, the hot chick on a stick, that big Elwood on a stick, and those succulent peel and eat shrimp.
Yeah, I am not losing any weight hanging around your place. I learned it's a lot easier just to make those resolutions simple and fun, buddy.
Man, and that's easy. You're right. That's a great resolution. So make your resolution fun. And head on over to Fast Eddie's Bon Air. You know where to go across that big, beautiful Clark Bridge and come into Alton, Illinois. So like Mr. Shannon always said, if you're 21 and in the mood, we'll see you at Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
Kool-Aid Man.
Uline
They know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call us now. $30 billion was set aside for meso victims. And in most cases, your claim is settled out of court without a jury trial. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Renewal by Andersen is the #1 window and door brand for customer service. Schedule your free inspection today. Call 877-WINDOWS. That's 877-WINDOWS. Or head to rbastl.com.
Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we got a new crash, Debbie. It looks minor, but it's westbound 64 just west of Spady. Police just pulled up. The left lane is blocked right now. Westbound 64 is backed up at Hampton. It's slow to Big Bend, and then it bogs down again. Clayton Warson through Spady. Again, the left lane is blocked by this most recent trouble spot, this crash. Southbound 170, heavy traffic from Delmar down to 64. Westbound 70, still some slow stuff. City limits, Riverview out through Jennings Station due to a recent incident. Eastbound 70 is wide open. Westbound 270, you still got heavy traffic from New Halls Ferry up through New Flores and Foggy, and we had a stall in that area earlier. Westbound 44, Grand through Kings Highway's heavy. Eastbound 44, Elm to Laclede Station is slow as well. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Coming up on Total Information AM with Megan Lynch, the president of St. Louis City SC, previews this weekend's home opener. That'll be with Jen Cease and Bill McDermott. More on the opener at 8:11.
I'm Debbie Monterrey. Fred Bottomer will go in depth at 8:23 as local health officials are on high alert for the spread of measles.
We're on alert for a thunderstorm, Joe Lundberg.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Changeable skies today and warm with a thunderstorm or two that can produce hail and damaging winds. We'll get to 68.
CBS News is coming up at the top of the hour. We'll go to London for the latest on the arrest of former Prince Andrew. Right now, we have fog in the area, a cloudy sky, 50 degrees downtown at the Arch. It's 8 o'clock.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Vicky Barker in London, where the people of Britain are trying to absorb the news that Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the disgraced younger brother of King Charles III, has been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office.
This is absolutely a moment without precedent.
Daily Telegraph royal correspondent India McTaggart.
We imagine now that he is being questioned, and it's probably the first real questioning he's had on this issue in his whole life.
Revelations in the Epstein files suggest Andrew, while a royal trade envoy, may have shared confidential information with late convicted pedophile billionaire Jeffrey Epstein. King Charles has released a statement supporting the police and expressing faith in British justice, which is carried out in his name.
It does end up in the courts, and then it is the king versus his own brother, which would be extraordinary.
Vanity Fair contributor Katie Nichol. Now with more CBS News, here's Deborah Rodriguez.
President Trump convenes his first Board of Peace meeting in Washington this hour. The focus, reconstructing war-battered Gaza. CBS's Olivia Gazis.
The key challenge is Hamas's disarmament. A U.S. official said challenges remain, but they had been, quote, encouraged by what mediators have reported about the group's intentions. The board's focus remains on stabilizing Gaza, even as questions linger about its broader ambitions.
Officials tell CBS News the U.S. could launch a strike on Iran as soon as Saturday. Correspondent Charlie D'Agata.
Second round of talks this week hasn't led to a sort of definitive agreement as far as the White House is concerned. The U.S. wants to be prepared if and when the talks fail.
The Pentagon has moved 2 aircraft carriers into the region, the Lincoln and the world's largest warship, the Ford. It just crossed the Atlantic after playing a key role in the operation to take out Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela. A fraternity at the University of Iowa has been suspended after a hazing incident caught on body cam video. CBS's Michael Wallace.
Campus police were responding to a fire alarm at the Alpha Delta Phi fraternity house in November 2024 when they found 56 pledges covered in alcohol, ketchup, and mustard in the basement.
Some of them had blindfolds. Looked like the floor was just covered in beer.
The university suspended the fraternity through July 2029.
Flights are back on track at Newark Liberty Airport after an emergency landing forced a ground stop last night. A JetBlue plane to Palm Beach had just taken off when passengers like Alexandra Spokos heard a loud bang and saw smoke near the cockpit.
They put down the slides and we rushed out more or less in a very disorganized stampede, get out and jumped down the slides and got out and ran away from the plane.
No word yet on what went wrong. This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored.
At 8:03, we have cloudy skies, 53 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Thursday, February 19th. I'm Megan Lynch.
Boeing is moving the headquarters of its Defense, Space, and Security Division back to the Gateway City. Greater St. Louis Inc. managing partner Ron Kitchens explains why having the head office is better than a branch office.
When you have a headquarters, it's different. There's a different level of philanthropy. You know, Boeing donated last year more than $13 million into local community charities. There's a different level of philanthropy when you have a headquarters than when you have a regional location. There's more volunteering that takes place in the not-for-profits and children's schools. We can't measure right now the impact this has and will have on our community.
The defense unit was rooted here for 2 decades after the historic 1997 merger with McDonnell Douglas, before executives then left for the D.C. area in 2017. Now, Boeing says its leaders have to return to Missouri to be on the ground with their 18,000 employees. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The body of a missing 18-year-old has been identified. That body, recovered from the Mississippi River near Festus Tuesday, has been identified as Juanita Gibson. Gibson was reported missing from St. Louis City December 24th of 2025. An investigation into the official cause of death is underway. A St. Louis County man sentenced to 90 months in jail for carjacking a 72-year-old. 25-year-old Kirk Hall and another man stole the victim's BMW in July 2023. The victim had parked in an apartment complex around 1 a.m. when she was ordered out by the other gunman. The man took off in the victim's car. Hall then followed in another car. He's admitted to carjacking back in November. Missourians may soon no longer have to get their cars, trucks, or SUVs inspected every 2 years. The Missouri House has passed legislation that would do away with inspections for most vehicles on the road. Democratic State Representative Melissa Douglas of Kansas City voted against the bill.
So I want you to always remember that these safety inspections were put in place to help protect the public. That's why we have driver's licenses, is to protect the public. This is our reasonable amount of service that we should be providing.
Republicans argued the vehicle inspections don't significantly reduce accidents or improve road safety. The bill would still require inspections for rebuilt vehicles that have been salvaged and allow police officers to require inspections for vehicles involved in a crash. I'll be talking with KMOX auto expert Greg Damon coming up in the 8 o'clock hour about some other auto-related measures. The Food and Drug Administration has reversed its decision on a proposed flu vaccine and has agreed to review it for possible approval. KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer reports.
The FDA rejected Moderna's application for review of the new flu vaccine based on mRNA technology last week, saying the company's research on it was flawed. The Cambridge, Massachusetts company is hoping to get the flu vaccine intended for people 50 and older approved in time for the next flu season. The FDA has now set an August deadline to decide whether to approve the flu vaccine. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Wood River going Hollywood. The Wood River City Council unanimously approved the sale of the Envirotech Business Park this week for development of Hollywood River Studios. The development totals $95 million and would include up to 6 sound and projection studios for film and TV. According to the Post-Dispatch, it would also include an esports arena. Chris Breakwell, the Pittsburgh-based developer, says it would create several hundred permanent jobs, with productions bringing in up to 500 temporary jobs. Tax credits paying off, according to new numbers from the Missouri Film Office.
In 2025, the Motion Media Production Tax Credit Program authorized nearly $15.7 million in production incentives for 54 projects. Those projects resulted in $40.7 million in spending around the Show Me State that benefited cast and crew, as well as hundreds of Missouri vendors and small businesses. Besides that, Missouri Film Office Director Andrea Sporsic-Klund says the word about Missouri is spreading. Debbie Monterrey, KMOX News.
From the KMOX Business Desk, the restaurant space in City Garden could become a visitor center. The glass and steel building in the downtown Sculpture Park first opened in 2009. It's since had 6 eateries open and closed. Now the St. Louis Board of Aldermen advancing legislation that would permit the Gateway Foundation to turn the space into a visitor center and community hub that could offer programming. That measure now moves on to the full board. Coming up on Total Information AM, St. Louis City SC, the home opener Saturday. We'll get a preview coming up from Jen Cease and Bill McDermott, and blend traffic and weather together in 2 minutes. It's 8:08.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history.
And a home run to left. The first major league home run for Albert Pujols.
Among those voices, Dan Deerdorf.
Good football town with a lot of good football fans, and they deserve better than to have both of our teams lead.
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan. If it's cold outside, the team at Morelli Tuck Pointing is still busy. During colder months, Morelli can inspect any exposed brick inside your house. If your basement has a stone or black wall, Morelli can remove the worn-out mortar from that wall and replace it with new mortar. This tuck pointing work will reinforce your foundation, prevent water from entering your home, and thwart pests. This is a great time to get the inside of your garage inspected. And the same goes for your brick or stone fireplace. I've used Morelli Tuck Pointing to repair the chimneys, walkways, and walls of 2 homes here in St. Louis. The Morelli bids are fair, their crews are super polite, and they clean their job sites. Don't take my word for it. Check out the reviews on Google. Winner of the BBB Torch Award and the Next Door Neighbor Fave Award, 35 years in business, an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM, Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
8:10. Let's see how things are moving on the roads. Roger Brandt is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, since we last spoke, just some good news. If you're headed over to Kansas City right now, they did clear that fatal tractor-trailer crash from overnight. All lanes are back open on 70 between Columbia and Boonville, so that's good news. Westbound 70 leaving the city, you still got some slow traffic from Riverview headed out through Jennings Station. Eastbound 70 is not a problem. Better on westbound 270, but it's still kind of slow. The Halls Ferries to New Flores, and we had an earlier incident there. The westbound 64, good news here as well. Hampton out to Hanley's heavy, and McKnight out to about Clayton Warson, but then it's opening up. They cleared that crash to the shoulder. Westbound 64 west of Spady. Eastbound 64 is still slow. Lindbergh into Big Bend. South 170 delays at the Parkway. Northbound 270, 44 up to 64 is still pretty busy. 55 barely a slowdown at River to Pear. 44 past the Poplar. Eastbound's a little busy. Eastbound 64 jam from the 70 split through 25th Street. Westbound from 50 through 159, both of those roadwork related. And westbound 64 is just slow. Route 3 onto the Poplar. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, some fog to start, otherwise variable cloudiness today and warm. Look for a thunderstorm or two. Any thunderstorm can produce hail and damaging winds or high 68. Tonight, increasingly windy and turning colder. Clear skies early, some clouds late, low 35. Tomorrow, sunshine and some clouds, breezy and cooler, high only 47. For Saturday, intervals of clouds and sunshine, brisk and chilly, the high just 44, even colder Sunday. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Cloudy skies this morning, 52 degrees in Florissant, 46 in St. Peters, and 53 downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. It's the big countdown to opening day for St. Louis City SC fans. The team kicks off the season for all of Major League Soccer this Saturday. There's a lot new at Energizer Park, the food, the coaches, and players, the prospect of World Cup and Olympic action. There are also questions about a crackdown on supporter flags. KMOX Sports' Jen Cease and Mr. Soccer Bill McDermott asked President Diego Gigliani about all of it from the club's pop-up shop at City Foundry.
How does it feel to have all eyes on you on Saturday, first game of the season?
Very exciting. Always nice to be back playing. I mean, to think that our last MLS home game was 4 months ago.
Yes.
Jen, that's a very long time, especially for those that live and breathe the game. To be back at Energizer Park, our home, is a long wait. So we're very excited to finally get there. It's special to be able to play a daytime game, but also the opening game of the entire league. Just a few more days to go. We want every season to feel fresh and new. So we have exciting things planned for match day and match day, routines and pre-match activities and food partners. And, we're here in this pop-up store in the Foundry where we have our new kit. We just did a concert a few days ago with the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra.
That was so
all those
fun.
things take a lot of planning and work, and now it's all going to come together on Saturday.
That's right.
Is the team aligning itself, doing anything with the overall World Cup itself?
We are doing a lot of things as a club. We will be able to communicate those soon, but you can imagine we're planning viewing parties to make sure that we collect all the excitement around, especially the USA games. And I'm sure the final and other big games like that. Hope the U.S. goes through as much as we can, and we can continue bringing people together around those games. But it's also known that we've been pursuing base camp options here in St. Louis. We're also talking to potential national teams for friendly matches here. And we'll be doing a lot more beyond that. We'll be doing content. We'll be creating youth tournaments. We've got a big plan of things lined up, and hopefully in a few weeks we'll be able to make that known to everyone.
As a follow-up to what you just said about international friendlies, things of that nature, one of the main reasons that the Energizer Park was built, obviously, is for St. Louis City as the main tenant, but also to bring games, international friendlies, men's and women's national team, and now the Olympics. So you've been successful in having your venue giving St. Louis more international exposure.
Yeah, that's it should be a source of pride for everyone in the city. I mean, I know this is not the first time that the Olympics has come here to St. Louis. Crazy to think that the third modern Olympics in history was here in St. Louis in 1904.
I love it. Well, I want to definitely talk about something that I think some fans are interested in learning a little bit more about, myself as well, because I don't know as much about it. I've seen some coverage and social chatter about the club's signage policy in the stadium. Sometimes I don't pay attention to that because I'm, up in the booth and we're trying to do interviews and things like that. Can you clarify for fans if something has changed in terms of rules, signage, what you can do, what you can't do?
Yeah, absolutely, Jen. The first thing I'd probably want to point out and make sure that everyone knows that we were born and will always be a community club. And as a community club, we have always and we will always support marginalized communities. That's what we are about. And there's plenty of examples that I can point to of things that demonstrate that. The Pillars of the Valley monument that was created right next to City Park to honor Mill Creek Valley. Our City Futures program, where we go out into underserved communities and offer free soccer to communities. Engagement with the LGBTQ community to ask them and to listen of how we can engage better and make them feel welcome at our games. We even received a human rights award by a third party for our role in that. So that is who we are and what we are about. It is true there's been a lot of discussion around policy in the stadium. And what I would say is that our fan code of conduct, which is what regulates kind of policy within the stadium, hasn't changed. It is true that what has changed, and every year we review this to see whether the application of that policy and the interpretation of that policy is being applied fairly. And when we did that, we took some decisions of some things that we wanted to change going into this coming season. But let me start clarifying that on the flags, banners, and signs part, because that has caused some confusion, I'd say, publicly. The policy has always said flags, banners, and signs are allowed as long as they are related to the match. That is an important distinction. We want people to bring in flags, banners, and signs that are about our players, about our teams, and we're also welcoming of flags, banners, and signs that are related to our theme nights. So every game we celebrate something. For example, this coming Saturday, it's the only game that we have in Black History Month. We actually don't have a game in Juneteenth because in that period the league will be off because of the World Cup break. So we are celebrating Black History Month in this game, and therefore flags, banners, and signs that celebrate that are allowed in this game because they are related to the match. Just like we will have a Pride Night later in the year, we will have a Hispanic Heritage Night later in the year, and that is the policy that had always been in place. We're just going to enforce it more carefully this year. I would also say that we do not police clothing. We do not regulate clothing. It doesn't appear in the fan code of conduct. We haven't added it in. Yes, we will make sure that no one is allowed into the stadium with anything that is on their clothing that incites violence or hate or profanity. So there are some pretty extreme thresholds there on what we would allow, but we are not in the business of policing clothing. What we do, though, police is behavior. Behavior is really, really important to us. And if there is clothing or flags or just behavior that causes disruption to other fans' enjoyment
and safety,
that for sure is our primary goal. We want to make sure that staff, fans all feel safe being in our stadium and coming back to our stadium. So that is really the policy. It hasn't changed. If I had to summarize it in some way, and what I want everyone to take away from this conversation is that what we are trying to create at Energizer Park is an environment where everyone feels welcome and people can unite.
What is it going to feel like to you on Saturday when everything's said and done, a little earlier in the day than we're normally used to, and we walk away for you to feel like this was a good start to the season?
I love getting a sense of how things are going from our fans and see what the feeling is at the end of the game or even during the game. Have they been can you hear the noise go up and down in moments of excitement? Can you see them standing? Can you see the supporters waving flags? Those things are a good measure of have we delivered a good football experience. Of course, the result matters, but more importantly, at the stage that we're in, we want to see a style of play, a belief, a togetherness amongst the team, and for that to be contagious with the fans and to come back. And that would be success for me. First game, we want to be able to see that desire. We want to see that competitiveness, and we want to see those fans, create that community with our players and give us that belief that this is the first match of 34 and a lot still to do.
That was Diego Gigliotti, president and GM of St. Louis City SC.
And a reminder that you can listen to that home opener this Saturday at 1 on our sister station, Y98 FM. Still ahead on Total Information AM, local health officials on high alert for the spread of measles. Fred Bottomer will go in depth. Plus, we'll go to London at the bottom of the hour for the latest on the arrest of former Prince Andrew. Let's get a check of the roads now with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things are getting better, Megan. This traffic reports the service of the U.S. Air Force Band of Mid-America free concerts. North 270, Big Bend, let's call it now, up to Ladue. That's a little bit better. Eastbound 64, there's a backup through the Chesterfield Parkways. Looks like there may be an incident there, a minor stall closer to Timberlake, so it's getting a little more solid there. Then it's slow midway in from Lindbergh through the Interbelt. Of course, the 170 Hanley area is sort of bumper to bumper briefly. South 170 delays at Brentwood, westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley, and then Clayton Warson to Spady. That crash is still out there on the right shoulder at the end of the Spady on-ramp. Westbound 70, still some slow traffic. Riverview out there, Jennings Station. Westbound 270 is cleared out in North County. Downtown, eastbound 64, still a jam from the 70 split through 15th Street. Westbound 64, midway from 50 through 159 is backed up. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking that forecast for today, it looks like we are going to have some fog to start that should burn off soon. Otherwise, clouds. It'll be warm, a thunderstorm or two possible. Some of those could produce hail and damaging winds. We're expecting a high today around 68. Right now, we have cloudy skies, 53 degrees downtown at the Arch.
Don't miss the U.S. Air Force's Shades of Blue Jazz Ensemble, February 25th through March 4th. Enjoy big band swing, patriotic favorites, and more. Get free tickets and locations at afbandtix.org. That's afbandtix.org.
With this weather, you've probably got spring fever, and maybe it's time to finally call Chesterfield Fence and Deck and have them build you that stuff in your outdoor space that you've really been wanting. You need a new deck, maybe a patio, a pergola, a sunroom, a screen room, a retaining wall, whatever it is, from the smallest problem or project like a gate to something huge, they can do it. And Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means that they've been around for 58 years. A fourth generation, locally owned family company with a long history of happy, satisfied customers because they do quality work. They always use the highest quality materials. They have their own installation crews, which is really important. So you know they're going to build quality and stand behind it for the life of the project. And that means that when you spend your money with Chesterfield Fence and Deck, it's going to last for years to come. Give them a call or stop by. They're in the Chesterfield Valley, or visit them online right now at chesterfieldfence.com. Mention me, Debbie Monterrey, and get 48 months interest-free financing. chesterfieldfence.com.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com, or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
Welcome back to Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. The extreme contagiousness of measles in unvaccinated people has local health experts closely watching for any sign of possible spread in our area. That after an Illinois resident with measles traveled through Lambert Airport. KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer spoke with WashU Medicine infectious diseases specialist Dr. Stephen Lawrence.
How contagious is the measles?
Well, measles is the most contagious viral illness that we know. It is sort of the granddaddy of contagiousness. On average, if you had a room full of people and that had not been previously vaccinated, in other words, they were completely susceptible to it, this virus on average would infect about 15 other individuals. So it really does have more contagiousness than any other viral illness that we know of.
How long until you can experience symptoms, and what are the symptoms?
Well, the symptoms of measles often start off, with, very nonspecific, but things, like fevers, not feeling very well. The real classic finding is that it is a rash that you develop, and the rash and a fever, the most common things, sometimes red eyes and a runny nose. Those are the most common presentations of measles. Sometimes it can be a little milder, though. In those rare instances where people who have been fully vaccinated can still get a milder breakthrough infection. After somebody's exposed, if they are going to get sick from measles, it generally occurs between 7 and 21 days later, but on average about 11 or 12 days after exposure.
What's the treatment for the measles?
Well, treatment for measles is mostly just supportive care measures, we call it, taking care of the symptoms, trying to treat those, and if there are any complications occur that may be necessary to be treated in a hospital for more severe cases. But there are antiviral medicines that are available specifically for measles, like there are for flu and for COVID.
Let's talk about the vaccine. What do we need to know about it?
Well, the most important thing to know about the vaccine is that it is one of, if not the most effective vaccines that we have versus any infection, for preventing it. A single dose gives people lifetime protection of 93% protection, reduced the risk of getting infected if they get exposed, and 2 doses over a lifetime is 97% effective. Those are numbers that are better than really any other vaccine, with the possible exception of the smallpox vaccine that helped to eradicate smallpox back in the 1970s. So the vaccine it does take a couple of weeks to work, and it's one of the reasons why measles cases had up until very recently been incredibly rare in the United States because the high degree of vaccination that had been across the country. And this is a childhood vaccine. Almost everybody, historically would get this vaccine during childhood. When we had numbers approaching 90, 95, or even 97% of all children in a region that get vaccinated, we don't see any measles because there's so very few people who are susceptible that would be able to sustain an outbreak. And so for many years in the last, really for 25 years, from around 2000 to 2025, measles outbreaks were very rare in the United States. We've seen now since really over the last year, a loss of that, what we call elimination status, which we appear to be losing in the United States because we've had ongoing and sustained measles transmission for about a year now that started with an outbreak in Texas about a year ago. And the fuel for those outbreaks really is when the vaccination level in a region or a community falls below 95 and below 90%. That really puts communities at risk that if there is a measles case that gets introduced into the community and 5, 10 or more % of the population isn't immune, then that is what can lead to bigger outbreaks.
That's Dr. Stephen Lawrence, WashU Medicine infectious diseases specialist. Coming up, we go to London for the latest on the arrest of former Prince Andrew. It is now 8:28. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Looking for your dream home in Wentzville? Welcome to Sutton Farms by Lombardo Homes, where community and comfort come together. Enjoy resort-style living with a private clubhouse, indoor courts, a splash pad, sand volleyball, walking trails, and even a dog park. Design your own custom home in our Parkside, Nature, or Tradition series, all within the top-rated Wentzville School District. Discover the perfect blend of small-town charm and modern convenience at Sutton Farms, located off Piney Road in Wentzville. Visit lombardohomes.com to learn more.
When it comes to lighting, Gray Bar goes beyond parts and products. We help contractors turn plans into smart designs, manage kitting and deliverables, and navigate local codes so you can stay on time and on budget. Smart, scalable, job site ready. That's not just lighting. That's like kicking your project into Gray Bar mode. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
8:30, time to check the roads again. Roger Brand last time said they were getting better, so let's count on that now. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, for the most part, they are, Megan. I did mention the one trouble spot on eastbound 64 between Clarkson and Timberlake. Either a stall or a crash. It turns out it is a crash. I can see it now. Involves a tractor trailer. Only the right lane is open since the emergency crews showed up, eastbound 64. So there's a jam back to Chesterfield Parkway West, eastbound 64. After that, it's still slow. McKnight to Big Bend. South 170 delays at Brentwood. Westbound 64, Clayton Skinker. Most of the way to Hanley's kind of slow. Northbound 270, north of Big Bend up to 64 is the heaviest part there. On the Illinois side, eastbound 64 from the 70 split through 15th Street's backed up. Westbound west of 50 through 159, you're on the brakes as well. Westbound 70 still a little slow through Jennings Station. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com. Hi, Margaret with Eamon Gantner and Capriano. Life happens. Accidents, deaths. Make your estate plan now, or the courts will decide for you later. Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, it looks like we're going to have cloudy skies today. It'll be warm and a chance of a thunderstorm or two. Expect a high of 68 degrees. Right now we have cloudy skies, 53 degrees downtown at the Arch. As you've you've heard on CBS and KMOX, former Prince Andrew Mountbatten Windsor is under arrest on suspicion of misconduct in public office. Let's go to London now. And CBS News correspondent Vicki Barker. Vicki, what specifics do we know right now about the charges against former Prince?
Well, we don't know for sure that the former prince has actually been charged with anything. He is under arrest and presumably being questioned on suspicion of misconduct in public office. Now, this apparently refers to revelations in the Epstein files that suggest that Andrew, while he was serving as a royal trade envoy, may have leaked confidential information to his good friend, the late convicted pedophile billionaire Jeffrey Epstein.
How extraordinary is this that he was actually taken into custody?
Extraordinary doesn't even begin to say it, Megan. Unprecedented is the word people have been using. I think, the then Prince Charles and Princess Anne, they collected a few speeding tickets in their youth, and Princess Anne pleaded guilty to a criminal charge of keeping a dangerous dog after one of her dogs bit some children. But there has not been a member of the British royal family arrested since, I believe it was 1649, when King Charles I was arrested, tried for treason, and executed.
What's the response from King Charles III?
Oh, he released a statement earlier today expressing some grief at his brother's arrest, but also strong support for the British police and strong faith in the British justice system. A justice system which, may I say, operates in the name of the British monarch. So if Andrew Mountbatten Windsor is charged and does go on trial, he'll essentially be being prosecuted by his own older brother.
What could this mean for the monarchy?
Well, I think what King Charles is hoping is not too much, that the damage has been limited, that damage limitation exercise began when the king stripped Andrew Mountbatten Windsor of his last remaining royal titles, including that of prince. But, some of these revelations that have come out that Andrew would, sneak Epstein associates into the castle for tours under names of like Mrs. Windsor, that sort of thing. The optics aren't great, but at the same time, there's no suggestion that anyone in the royal family, including his late mother, the Queen, who, let's not forget, probably forked over the estimated £12 million to settle the case against Virginia Giuffre, his accuser, that nobody actually knew the full extent of Andrew's association with Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, at the very least, these files have exposed him as a liar, that he lied about when he cut off all ties with Epstein. In fact, the two were exchanging Christmas cards 2 years later.
CBS News correspondent Vicki Barker in London. Thank you so much for your time, Vicki.
Thank you, Megan.
Still ahead this hour, we are going to look at a feature on our cars, our newer cars, that basically stops the engine when we're at a stoplight or stop sign. Auto expert Greg Damon is going to weigh in on the Trump administration wanting to get rid of that feature. It's 8:35.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Honey, that flu keeping you up? Did you take NyQuil Intense Flu?
Nah, I got this. Okay, I don't got this.
Yeah, you need NyQuil Intense Flu.
Undo your flu with NyQuil Intense Flu. NyQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms so you can sleep.
You do got this.
NyQuil Intense Flu. The nighttime sniffling, aching fever. Best sleep with the flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. After my husband died, the last thing I wanted to think about was money.
Ethos made it affordable to get life insurance. Signing up was fast and 100% online. I knew that I could pay our mortgage and have food in the fridge. I could focus on my kids. No one ever tells you how much you're going to depend on that policy. I am so grateful we had coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required. Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Chuck McDowell here again. Over the years, I've seen way too many timeshare exit companies pop up, take folks' money, and disappear. I just saw an ad from an exit company started by a couple of bozos that used to work for me. My advice, don't hire bozos I fire. Want out of your timeshare? I'll send you our free timeshare exit info kit explaining your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free kit. 800-329-3737. That's 800-329-3737.
Your Money Report now. It's sponsored by Eamon Gattner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's John Tucker.
Shares of Walmart are lower pre-market after issuing a forecast for full-year earnings that missed higher expectations. Federal Reserve officials appeared surprisingly wary of cutting interest rates. Several members even suggested the central bank may need to raise interest rates if inflation remains stubbornly high. The minutes of their last meeting showed most officials believed labor market weakness was fading and that the risk of more persistent inflation remained. Oil saw its biggest daily gain since October following a report that American military intervention in Iran could come sooner than expected. A potential war would put flows at risk from a region that pumps about a third of the world's oil. And Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates backed out of a keynote address at a high-profile Indian AI summit just hours before he was due to speak. The withdrawal follows criticisms of his relationship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. I'm John Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
It is time for us to rediscover what a beautiful country the United States of America is, and we're going to do that on a 5-day Arizona adventure. Won't you join us? We're going to do this in September, and it is going to be amazing. I have never been to these places, so I cannot wait. Maybe you have been, but you'd like to rediscover them again. A 5-day Arizona adventure this September, where we're based in Flagstaff. Cool mountain air, wide open skies. We're going to explore Sedona's Red Rock Country. We'll stand at the edge of the Grand Canyon, and we'll take in the crystal blue waters of Lake Powell and so much more. Just 5 days and 4 nights, one unforgettable trip full of history, adventure, and American beauty without all the crowds or the summer heat. And my favorite kind of vacation, I don't have to plan a thing, and neither do you. Just get your name on the list, and off we go for an Arizona adventure this September. But you've got to get your name on the list now. So visit travelwithdebbie.net now. Travelwithdebbie.net. You can call 800-383-3131. I'll see you in September in Arizona. Travelwithdebbie.net.
Celebrate jazz legend John Coltrane with the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra in a special one-night-only event, Coltrane 100 Legacy. Celebrate Coltrane's creative genius through powerful orchestral arrangements of his most groundbreaking works. Curated and arranged by acclaimed composer Carlos Simon, this performance features saxophone icon Joe Lovano in a journey from Coltrane's early classics to his late visionary masterpieces. It's jazz, symphony, and legacy, all in one unforgettable night with your St. Louis Symphony Orchestra. February 28th at 7:30 p.m. at Powell Hall. Tickets at slso.org.
When your land demands more power, versatility, and reliability, our John Deere 5E 3-cylinder series delivers. Right now, at Seidenstricker Nobe Partners, take advantage of an offer built for bigger jobs and ready for every season. Get 0% financing for 84 months or $5,000 off 5E 3-cylinder tractors. Visit Essen Partners for more details. Seidenstricker Nobe, your partner for the land.
Offer valid through 2/28/2026. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Show, Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
Coming up on Total Information AM, veteran ABC News correspondent and 2020 anchor Deborah Roberts is going to be in St. Louis tonight. Debbie Monterrey sat down with her, and we'll have more coming up. First, though, let's check the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, we still have our trouble spot on eastbound 64. This traffic reports a Service of Financial and Tax Strategies has crashed between Clarkson and Timberlake. Closer to Timberlake, it looks like only the right lane is open, and eastbound 64 is jammed approaching Annie Guns coming out of the valley, bumper to bumper up till you get past that crash scene. Then it's still slow east of McKnight through to Big Bend, westbound 64, McCausland out to Hanley's a little heavy. North 270 approaching Manchester up to 64. That's still slow. Looks like we have backed up traffic on Kingston, just north of Telegraph over in Lime right now. Both directions, I guess it's roadwork related there. Roadwork jam on eastbound 64 from the 70 split to about 25th Street. And it's a slowdown westbound 64 due to roadwork both sides of 159. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Retirement shouldn't feel like balancing a checkbook while blindfolded. I'm Gary Goldberg, and my team helps you see the big picture so you can retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety. Because guessing is not a strategy. Tune in to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
We could get some stormy weather this afternoon and this evening. Any thunderstorms could produce hail and damaging winds. Otherwise, cloudy and warm today with a high of 68. Right now, cloudy skies, 53 downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on KMOX. Here's Debbie Monterrey.
Our next guest is a familiar face to many, an award-winning television journalist and anchor on shows like 2020, Good Morning America, and Nightline. Welcome back to KMOX, Deborah Roberts.
Hi there. So great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're going to be coming to the St. Louis County Library on the 19th, the Clark Family Branch, to talk about your new book, Sisters Loved and Treasured, Stories of Unbreakable Bonds.
Yeah, well, I got to tell you, if anybody knows anything about sisters, it would be me.
I had no idea what a huge family you come from.
6 of them and 2 brothers. So I grew up just sort of like wallowing in sisters. And that was part of, I think, my motivation for this book, because it's something that I know so well. I had written about teachers before and my passion for the work that they do and just the inspiration they can bring, and a teacher who had meant a lot in my life. So when thinking about the next book, you know, of course, you go into your life and think about what motivates you, what interests you, what intrigues you. And I started thinking about the family bond, about siblings. And then, of course, I narrowed it down to sisters because I have so many, but also because the bond is so interesting. They're complex. They are, you know, they can be invigorating. They can be infuriating. You know, the bonds can be really, really interesting and dynamic. However, there have been studies that show that having a sister can be really can boost your mental health. When I read something like that, I thought that's interesting. And of course, it's not all, you know, skipping through the park with, you know, rainbows and lollipops. I mean, I've had ups and downs with various members of my family, with my sisters. And so I wanted to explore, number one, that bond. What is it that makes it special? But also what makes it complicated, challenging, how people weather their storms, all of those things. And that's kind of what I got in this book, a collection of stories about sisterhood.
I think sometimes people who grow up as the only child, they think about, oh, these people and these big families. You know, we kind of romanticize what other people have. I'm sure when you've got 9 kids in a house, you're thinking, it'd be really nice to be the only one.
To be quiet, to have quiet. You're absolutely right. You know, to be honest with you, when I was growing up in small town Georgia, there were times when I would be feeling a little embarrassed when all of us were out together. Or say when, you know, my oldest brother and sister were so much older, truthfully, that by the time I was growing up, they were out of the house. My brother had joined the Air Force. My sister had gone off to college and then later got married right out of college. So there really were kind of like there were 7 of us, that core group of 7. But even so, that's still a big family. And I remember going places and, you know, going out to dinner, or maybe we went to Disney World, and I just felt kind of embarrassed, like, all these people, how embarrassing. And of course, many people thought it was something very special as well, because you got kind of a sibling that sort of fit every mood, you know?
And this is not just a book about your relationship with your sisters, but you have enlisted some famous friends to help you out with this book. Can you tell us some of the personal stories you've collected for this?
Famous friends and then not so famous friends. I mean, I just started thinking about the sisterhood, and some just came to mind, like Octavia Spencer, who's become a friend of mine just because I've interviewed her a little bit over the years. And then I tapped Viola Davis because I knew she had written and talked about her sisters. Jenna Bush Hager, her sister Barbara, they're twins. I thought that is a very, a unique bond. And then, Connie Chung, a journalist who also came from a really huge family. But then, Michael Strahan's 2 daughters. Michael is a colleague of mine. One of his daughters, again, a couple of twins, one of them went through a life-threatening situation. I wanted to hear their story, and they're young kids. They're in their 20s. So I sort of talked to people from a range of backgrounds, including some sisters who don't necessarily get along all that well and have found a way forward. And I thought that could be instructional and informational for other people who might be in that same boat.
How about for women who may or may not have a sister they're close to, but have people they're not related to that they consider
Yeah.
sisters?
Yeah, that comes up all the time. In fact, I didn't interview people for the book who don't have sisters, but then Carol Radziwill, who was a former colleague of mine, and some people might remember her. She was one of the Real Housewives of New York, and she's also written books. Carol talked about her sisters and how much she treasures them, but her chosen sisters, her good friends, have become more of her sisterhood. So we touched on that, and I certainly talk about that when I go out and talk to people about the book. Even if you don't have a sister, I hope you'll find some inspiration in here, because we all know as women, we are very intimate creatures and we really love bonding and talking a lot together. And I think there's a lot to be said about just having a sisterhood, whether it's good friends, whether it's your cousins, whether it's just, someone else in your life who can share a lot with you. There's a bond that can be built there. So the sisterhood, I think, obviously is very special in a family, but that bond can transcend families and extend to those who are chosen sisters.
Well, I'm glad that you're going to be coming to St. Louis because, your husband, Al Roker, seems like he's here a lot. So we get to bump into him at least once a year when he comes here for the musical awards.
Yeah, he was just there, and he was actually at the library, I think, for his book, too, I think, last year. So he has a lot of great things to say. My dear friend Susan Sherman, who was a college buddy of mine and a real presence there in St. Louis, always tries to get me to come there whenever possible. So I'll be checking in with her. And also a St. Louis native, I don't know if she's a native, but she certainly lives there, Audra, a clothing designer. She and her sister are in my book. So I'm looking forward to seeing Audra and celebrating her story there as well.
Perfect. Deborah Roberts is an award-winning television journalist, also a best-selling author, and the latest is Sisters Loved and Treasured Stories of Unbreakable Bonds. She'll be at the Clark Family Branch of the St. Louis County Library tonight. Pleasure talking to you. Best of wishes with the book.
Nice talking to you too, and thanks so much.
Well, the EPA calls it universally hated. I'll talk to KMOX auto expert Greg Damon about plans to get rid of that start-stop engine feature on newer cars that basically stalls you out when you're at a stop sign. That's coming up next.
Larry Older here. One of the most rewarding parts of sharing Relief Factor with you is hearing real stories like that of Sandra. She tells us, I've been hearing about Relief Factor on the radio for a couple of years, and I finally decided to try it because nothing else was helping my back pain. I know the feeling. With a 3-week quick start, she said, I went for it. Now I feel like a new person. That's Sandra's own words, and it's so gratifying to hear. I've told you about my brother Kirk having difficulty going up and down the stairs in the morning. He wouldn't listen to me. I told him to take Relief Factor. He finally did. Began moving better, feeling stronger. Too bad he didn't listen earlier. Try it for yourself. The 3-week quick start. And see how Relief Factor could be your game changer too. It is only $19.95. Think about it. Do the math. Less than $1 a day. So call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800, the number 4RELIEF, or go to relieffactor.com, all one word, relieffactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain? 800-4RELIEF, relieffactor.com.
If snow and cold has you thinking spring, why don't you do something constructive and call Chesterfield Fence and Deck? Let this be the year that you have that beautiful outdoor space that you've always wanted. Whether you're talking about a new deck, a patio, a pergola, they do all of it. And of course, fences as well, sunrooms, screen rooms. You can visit their beautiful showroom in the Chesterfield Valley. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best since 1968. All of their products are guaranteed by a 5-year labor warranty, comprehensive material warranties provided. They have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Now, if you're looking for the rock bottom cheapest price, Chesterfield Fence and Deck is not it. What they are is the company that guarantees their work and has been doing great work for 57 years. Quality work that will last for a long, long time. So you can enjoy your outdoor space for years to come. If you mention me, Debbie Monterrey, they'll offer you 48 months interest-free financing. ChesterfieldFence.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com. Is your furnace on its last legs? Don't wait for a cold night to find out. Jerry Kelly and KMOX are giving you the chance to win a brand new furnace this winter season. Just go online to KMOX.com/contest through March 1st. and nominate someone who you think deserves a brand new furnace. Sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning. Win a brand new furnace. For more information and contest rules, just head to KMOX.com/contests.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
I'm Megan Lynch. Thanks for joining me this morning for Total Information AM here on KMOX. The Trump administration wants to get rid of that feature on newer cars that shuts off gas engines when a car idles. The so-called start-stop feature was meant to make vehicles more fuel efficient and improve fuel economy. For many drivers, though, it's just plain annoying. But does it have value? Let's get some perspective this morning from Greg Damon. He is our KMOX auto expert and general manager at Sparks Tire and Auto. Good morning, Greg.
Good morning, Megan. Boy, that is, isn't that the most annoying thing ever on any vehicle?
Well, I find this to be very polarizing because some people have told me that they don't find it annoying, but we literally did not buy a car because my husband found the feature so annoying in just a test drive. Did we miss out on something that was really great, though?
No, not at all. Not at all. It actually does more damage than good for the vehicle. I mean, it puts added stress on your battery. It puts added stress on your starter. Not only that, you have to have a different style of battery. Some cars have two batteries, one for the start-stop, one for the regular other stuff, electronic things that are on the vehicle as well. Puts added stress on the motor mounts. Think about the engine shutting off and then starting up, the engine rocking back and forth. Really, not only that, but there is a point to where you're going to probably have low oil pressure on that engine when it restarts. When you shut your car off, oil starts to drain back into the pan. And when you restart it, it has to build up oil pressure to operate certain functions inside the engine. And so for that brief few seconds, you may not have enough oil pressure before you're able to step on the gas and take away.
Has this been proven to really improve fuel efficiency, though, which was the goal of it?
I don't understand how it would improve fuel efficiency any way, shape, or form, because when you idle, especially in today's cars, newer cars, it uses a minuscule amount of fuel. So to me, it just adds more wear and tear on your car, more cost to the consumer versus just sitting there and idling. And I mean, what do you sit at a stoplight? A minute and a half? So
how hard is it to disable this depending on the model?
Well, some are very easy. Some actually have a button that's on it, and all you got to do is press the button. Sometimes you have to press the button more than once during the cycle while you're driving it. But some you can't shut off at all.
If this goes forward, how soon do you think automakers would phase it out?
I think they'd jump on it as soon as possible. I mean, it's an added cost for them to install this. So I think they would be. I think they'd be all over it.
Greg, while we've got you on the line, I want to ask your opinion on something that's happening in Missouri. The House has passed legislation that would end most vehicle inspections. Of course, this is for vehicles that are 10 years old or older and have 150,000 miles or more. Pros and cons of this?
I think it's absolutely crazy, Megan. I wish people would come and spend a week with us here at the shop so you could see what kind of stuff comes through the door that people are actually driving on: bad tires, bad suspension, bad front end parts, all sorts of stuff that can cause damage to not only you while you're driving, but possibly involve you into an accident and you hurt somebody else running into somebody else. Missouri used to have some of the lowest insurance rates in the country because of the vehicle inspection. I think if the vehicle inspection goes away, the safety portion of it, I think the insurance rates will rise. We used to see, before there was 150,000 mile, before you had to have a safety inspection, we used to never see cars broke down on the side of the road. Now we see them constantly all over the place. I think it's really bad for Missouri. Either way, though, in the St. Louis and Kansas City area, you're still going to have to get the emission inspection. It's just the middle of the state will not have to do the safety inspection. They don't do the emission inspection in the middle of the state now. So that's why they want to eliminate it. But still here on the east and the west side, we'll still have to do the emissions.
Greg, thanks for your insights. Appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks, Megan.
Always good to have Greg on. He's our KMOX auto expert and general manager at Sparks Tire Auto in St. Charles. It's now 8:56.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Wesley Financial.
Walking 7,000 steps per day reduces the risk for cancer and chronic disease. A review of studies from Sydney School of Public Health found no significant improvement in those who walked more than 7,000 steps, supporting the recent questioning of the widely embraced